disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? if they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay.
All right. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope. We're going to talk about the falsified case of Mustafa Al-Jazari. In this case, you have a vehicle. Well, before I get into what we're going to talk about, I want to thank Muhammad for being here. Muhammad, thank you for being here. We're going to hold a podcast at the county courthouse, but it's raining. And thank God we have a studio where we can actually continue and have this podcast. We're going to have a beautiful podcast. There is a lot to talk about. Sheriff Glenn Hill is on the news.
Is he now?
Chief of Police Peter Newsham is on the news. I mean, I don't understand. You know, it's like they want me to talk about them. It's like just when I'm shifting gears and I'm trying to focus on Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, they have to pop out so I can talk about them. I mean, how could I not talk about them now that they're on the news? And this community needs to hear what I have to say. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. We're going to talk about the falsified case of Mustafa Al-Jazari. Now, there is a number of components in this case. The police department crushed and staged the vehicle. And you don't have to take my word for it. I have evidence that the police department crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. The police department falsified Mustafa's statements. The children have been weaponized against Mustafa. Mustafa is drugged only to be toyed with inside the hospital. And when Officer Chad Mason saw that Mustafa was broken and crying and asking for his family, that body cam is removed. But we have that body cam today. It's been released, and the community is watching what took place inside the hospital. And Judge Carol Weimer wants to tell you Mustafa was not interrogated. Well, we have the body cam. We're going to go through that body cam. And that body cam was removed only for Chad Mason to falsify the situation inside the hospital. And he said Mustafa did not care about his family. Well, we have a body cam where Mustafa is crying and broken and was asking for his family. The dash camera, the community is watching a dash camera that's cut before impact. Doesn't have audio. The Commonwealth attorney already came out on the news and said this dash camera does not have audio. Well, today we have a testimony of Officer Chad Mason that took the stand in front of Judge Carol Weimer. And he said, I tampered with this dash camera.
You have an audio from Chad Mason on the stand saying that?
I have the audio. Now, this audio, they did a lot so this community doesn't get to hear it. You have Sheriff Glenn Hill, who brings in a giant machine.
So the prosecutor says there's no audio to this dash cam. Julie Carey on NBC4
said there's no audio.
Says there's no audio. And then Chad Mason comes into court.
And he says, I violated department policy. And I did 1, 2, 3, 4 to this dash camera. And we're going to go into details.
So he didn't follow the rules.
He didn't follow. I mean, he took possession of this dash camera, violated department policy. And instead of taking the dash camera, giving it to digital forensic, following the chain of custody, he took it back to his vehicle, took the SD card, plugged it into his computer.
He said there's no audio for that day, or there's no audio at all?
Well, at first he said, I don't recall.
He doesn't recall.
And then his testimony throughout.
When the prosecutor started asking him, he
says, there's no audio. Did you notate that anywhere? He says no.
So he didn't take notes. He admits he violated department policy.
I mean, he took possession of that dash camera.
And he didn't execute the warrant properly.
Now,
we know that for a fact.
Now, there is a chain of custody for the dash camera. There is a chain of custody that he was supposed to follow. and he said he admits that I violated this chain
So
of
he
custody.
didn't follow a chain of custody, and he didn't execute the warrant properly.
Did not execute the warrant properly. Now, what did Chad Mason do?
How long has he been with the police department?
Almost 14 years.
14 years.
Used to be Homeland Security at one point.
And he doesn't know the policy.
Oh, he knows. Oh, he knows. He took that
Well, his
dash camera.
testimony is he doesn't know. He didn't know.
His
So,
testimony, he said, I don't know the policy.
so for 14 years, he's been violating department policy. He's a crash investigator?
Well, he said, I've been violating department policy for 14 years.
Interesting. Is he still on the force?
He is still on the force. And Chief of Police Peter Newsham is entertaining it. As a matter of fact, he's pretending that it's not happening. We have the audio. This community got to listen to this audio on the last podcast. We held a podcast in front of the county courthouse, and the community got to hear Chad Mason on the stand tell Judge Carol Weimer, I took the dash camera back to my vehicle. I took the SD card, plugged it into my computer, downloaded the files.
Programmed it is what he said.
Programmed it. He said, I programmed it.
So he programmed evidence before sending it to digital evidence, before they can preserve the evidence.
I mean,
Before Zaimus, who we're going to hear today, says her process is to make a mirror image copy of the evidence before manipulating it, so that there's no question that she's not manipulating the original evidence. She's manipulating the copy that she made so that the original is preserved. That's her process.
that's her process. And she
But-
said that's exactly what she did. But after what?
But she did that on April 24th.
Well, on the day of the accident, Chad Mason takes the dash camera back to his vehicle, takes the SD card,
On April
program
5th.
on April 5th, takes the SD card,
Wow.
puts it into his computer, downloads the files,
Programs it.
programs it, downloads the files, then takes the SD card out of the computer, puts it back in the dash camera, goes back into the vehicle and sticks it back into the windshield where he found it. That dash camera was on the windshield. He said when he saw the dash camera, it was still stuck to the windshield. So he took it, downloaded it, and then went back and stuck it back to the windshield before they hauled the vehicle to the police department.
I mean,
Now-
that's the definition of tampering with evidence.
It gets worse because 2 days later is when he actually got the warrant
Okay.
for the dash camera.
And the warrant
Now-
was for all videos from, specifically, the warrant states that it's for all videos from April 5th and the 6th, which is stupid because the accident was on April 5th and the police took custody of the vehicle and the dash cam after the accident on April 5th.
And
so
the-
I don't know what they need April 6th for.
And he cherry picked which videos.
Does the warrant say to cherry pick videos, or it says all videos from April 5th?
All videos on April 5th. Instead, he chose 12. He started the dash camera at 12:14.
1:14.
1:14.
1:14 p.m.
He started uploading. And I find it disturbing that Chad Mason is the one that uploaded the files to the police department server, evidence.com. And they admit that on
So
the stand.
not digital forensics.
Not digital forensics. So,
Digital forensics, by the way, who says there is audio on this dash cam.
and this is what we're going to hear today. We're going to hear the audio testimony of
Kathy
digital
Zaimus.
forensics, Kathy Zaimus. She takes a stand in front of Judge Weimer, and she tells Judge Weimer that this dash camera does have audio.
I think we should get into it.
Absolutely. Before we get into the audio, there's a bunch of videos that we have to address. I mean, you got Sheriff Glenhill on the news. You think I'm going to let that go?
No.
You got Chief of Police Peter Newsham on the news. You think I'm going to let that go? I have to address these issues. I mean,
All right, let's go.
all right. So the first video, let's go over to Facebook. Let's see. I want to start out with Sheriff Glenhill. Glenhill. You know, it's really funny. You type Glenhill, I come up. I mean, that's a problem. That is a real problem. All right, hang on a sec. Let me find the video.
I mean, he seems like a nice guy, to be honest with
I mean, I love the guy. I love his personality. And a lot of people don't understand and don't. I have a great relationship with Sheriff Glenn Hill.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. He looks like a good guy. From the times I've
He's like the
spent
father I never had, the uncle I never had, the son I never raised. Sheriff Glenn Hill, me and him get along perfect. Every time we see each other, we shake hands, we say hello. He's like, he has a very specific personality. I know how to mimic his personality. I mean,
generally speaking, he's
look, there is nothing personal against Sheriff Glenn Hill. But there are issues that you can't avoid in this community. And we have to talk about them.
Well, I mean, he is the top law enforcement or chief law enforcement of Prince William County. He's the sheriff.
You entrust the sheriff to do his job. I mean, he took an oath. Swore an oath.
He's supposed to make sure everybody is upholding the law in Prince William County. He's the sheriff. I mean, can't get higher than the sheriff.
I don't understand. Everybody's sending me this video. Now I can't find this video.
I think you know, my opinion on this is that I think he's in the middle of...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
He's in the middle of certain things that are going on in the county.
I found the video, by the way.
And they're putting him in a tough position.
Look, Amy Ashworth, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, is throwing the sheriff in the middle, and she wants to deflect the conversation so that way we can talk about the sheriff and not focus on what she's doing to this community.
You know, I think we talked about this. Me and you talked about this the other day. And I'm telling you, when I say they're putting him in the middle, what I mean is, and I'll give you real life examples, okay? There was a motion filed by Sarah Sammy at some point in 2024, okay, where she says the family is violent. She's talking about Mustafa's family. They're violent. They said they're going to set fires to buildings. She says the brother, specifically Mohammed Al-Jazari, went out to a Manassas gun store and purchased an AR-style rifle and 1,000 rounds, insinuating that I'm going to attack the courthouse.
Weren't we camping at the count?
Let me finish. This, by the way,
for 9 months?
This is on a motion, like on the record. It's put in a motion on the record. She says that the mother is going to kill somebody at the jail. The family is violent. The family is this. There's all these. By the way, this is on a statement of facts. In Mustafa's case, it has nothing to do. Like I'm not on trial.
So she's still in the sheriff Glenn Hill.
Look, this is what she's saying publicly. I can't imagine
what she's still in the sheriff.
What she's telling the sheriff's office privately. If she's willing to come on the record and say that this family is buying up guns, buying thousands of rounds, and they're going to shoot up the courthouse, I can only imagine what she's telling him behind closed doors. And that's why when you see a deputy at Prince William County and they give you that weird look, it's because they've been given misinformation about you. Now, when they meet you and they talk to you, I'll tell you what one of the deputies says. He says, man, you guys are nothing like what the prosecutor says. You remember that?
I remember.
It was right after she put in that motion, the statement of fact. And he says, he's like, I can't believe she would say that about you guys.
I mean,
you guys have been here for over 6 months protesting. I've never seen what she says about you. You guys are wonderful people, okay? I mean, you have a right to stand here and protest your grievances. And I can't imagine why she would say something like that. This is one deputy who's probably a smart guy, okay, who thinks for himself. But there's a lot of people that just fall in line. They go with the narrative. They listen to the prosecutor say this in a meeting. And they think, oh, we have to look out for these people. They're violent. They're dangerous people.
On public property.
And that's why you see this aggression from certain officers against you.
On public property, we have a First Amendment. On public property, I held a sign and I said, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth allows a jail to murder inmates. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, you falsified my brother's case. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth looks out the window. I kid you not. She waved at me. Within 5 minutes, Sheriff Glenn Hill came out with 9 deputies.
And arrested him.
It's on video. I mean, I thought she was waving at me. I didn't know she was waving goodbye. Could you not? And within 5 minutes, he comes out. I don't know what's wrong with him. He doesn't know why I kid you not. He did not know why he was there.
Of course. I mean, this is what I was saying.
What information
He's being put
did
in a
Commonwealth?
position. He's being put in the middle of a situation where he's being told one thing, which is all lies. I mean, according to Blake Weiner, he told me that Sarah Sammy had retracted that entire statement. That whole statement of facts, she retracted it. Okay?
So she puts it out and then retracts it.
She puts it out, she lies, and then she says, oh, oops, I was given misinformation. I mean, when you're making a claim about someone saying that she specifically says, I went into a Manassas, Virginia gun store.
You know what's really
and
interesting?
purchased a rifle. I mean, that should be easily verifiable, by the way, by state police. You know, when you apply to purchase a weapon, you can easily verify that.
You know what was really interesting? And there's a body cam.
By the way, if I was, there's no problem with it.
There's a body cam.
But that's not the case
By
here.
the way, there's a body cam of my whole entire arrest while I was on public property exercising a First Amendment. Now, I'm confused why the sheriff is trying to put me in handcuffs. He's confused why he's there. And you can see the whole entire situation. Because prior to that arrest, me and the sheriff had a great relationship. As a matter of fact, on the body cam, you can clearly see that I'm telling the Sheriff, that's the bullhorn right there. We had a conversation. I'm not using the bullhorn. I don't understand why you're here. And he doesn't know why he's there. You can clearly see he's confused. But what's happening here is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is feeding this sheriff a certain type of information that's making him look senile.
Look, and I'll tell you.
Does that make sense? She's throwing him in the middle of this whole entire thing. The conversation is, what is Amy Ashworth doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? And to deflect and run away from the spotlight, she's throwing this Pokemon in the middle, and he's getting caught up.
And I was going to say, I'll tell you why I know he's not. It's not the decision.
He needs to evolve, to be honest with you. I mean, I've tried, but this Pokemon does not evolve.
The decision is not really
defective.
It's not with him. And I'll tell you how I know for a fact that.
He's old school. He's like 80 years old, and he's not getting it. You are not the conversation. Get back into your office and let us talk about Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. The only reason I'm talking about you is because she's putting you in the middle. Me and you, we have a great relationship. Every time I see you, hey, Sheriff, and I even make an attempt. And he makes an attempt.
He does.
We stop, we say hello. He asks me about my beautiful mother. She's still screaming, sir. He tells me I miss her screaming.
Let's get into your video.
There's a video that we have to talk about, and Sheriff Glenn Hill is all over the news. And he is cracking down heavy on Guzman. This is a jail board member. Now she wants to be a delegate. Let's hear what Sheriff Glenn Hill has to say about it.
Guzman wants to be a delegate?
God help this county if Guzman makes it to being a delegate. And I'll tell everybody why. Do me a favor, go over to exhibits. Let's play. When Sheriff Glenn Hill's video is a fucking exhibit, you've got a problem.
Public safety is my top priority. Take it from me. Elizabeth.
Let's see if I can rewind it.
As sheriff, public safety is my top priority. Take it from me. Elizabeth Guzman won't keep our family safe. She opposed tougher sentences on fentanyl dealers and even voted to eliminate mandatory reporting of sex crimes against our children in our schools. On account of enabling criminals, Guzman is guilty as charged.
I'm Ian Lovejoy, candidate for delegate, and my campaign sponsored this ad.
All right, so we're going to watch this again, by the way. I don't know why he looks angry, as if he already knows that I'm going to play the video. I'm going to talk about him. We're going to put him under a microscope. Guzman who is Guzman? Why is this sheriff so against this lady, Guzman, and he wants, he's giving you an alternative. Guzman is a jail board member in our county. There's the supervisor board. There's a governor. There's a supervisor,
Board of Supervisors.
board of supervisors, and then the jail board member. The jail board members oversee anything that goes on in our county jail. You have Chief of Police Peter Newsham. You have Sheriff Glenn Hill. You have Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. You have Guzman, this lady. You have Human Rights Commission, Raul Torres. And
So
Sheriff
bunch of members.
bunch of members, okay?
From the jail board.
From the jail board, okay? And they oversee abuse inside the jail or anything that goes on inside the jail. Now, Sheriff Glenn Hill wants to tell you that she's the devil himself. And I can't disagree with the sheriff. Now, I'll tell you, but me and Sheriff Glenn Hill disagree, don't like Guzman for different reasons. Now,
Why don't you like Guzman?
I don't like Guzman because she never shows up.
So she doesn't come to work.
She does not come to work. She's a jail board member who never shows up. I mean, we brought issues. We wanted to bring issues to her, but how can we bring issues to her as a jail board member when she's not there?
If you're not at work.
Now, can you imagine her being a delegate?
Yeah, she's going to be one of those
You're not going to have a delegate.
work from home delegate.
Basically, you're not going to have a delegate. If you elect Guzman, you're not going to have a delegate.
Think about all the.
If she doesn't show up to the jail board meeting, what makes you think that she's going to show up as a delegate?
Think about all the important decisions that they were voting on at the jail board, and she wasn't present. She wasn't there. She shows up like once a year, I think. I mean, we never saw her when we went to the jail board.
I think the just for a jail board member is on top of whatever salary that you take is $50,000, just about.
That's what I heard.
Now imagine $50,000 is coming out of the pocket of this community into this jail board member who doesn't show up.
Who sleeps all day?
Now, that's why I don't like her. That's why I would never vote her into being a delegate. Now, Sheriff Glenn Hill has other reasons.
I mean, I agree with you. If you don't show up to work, we don't know what you're all about.
Exactly. So let's talk about why Sheriff Glenn Hill doesn't like her. Sheriff Glenn Hill doesn't like her. You looked up something earlier. What was that called?
What is it?
The thing they voted on, where if you're so. Can you look that up real quick?
G14 classified.
G14 classified. So as jail board members, everybody got to vote. If you get arrested in our county, and if you're illegal, if you have an illegal status, what the sheriff wants to do...
Is it 287G?
287G. So jail board members got to vote that if you get arrested in our county, the sheriff will notify ICE.
Okay.
Before you get any kind of due process. Probable cause is a very thin line.
So anybody arrested
could be
anybody
charged
in the jail,
and be arrested.
Right away, they notify ICE.
They notify ICE without you going to the judge, without due process, without whether you're guilty or not. You get locked up, they're going to notify ICE. And that's what Sheriff Glenn Hill wants. That's what Chief of Police Peter Newsham wants. That's what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth wants. They all voted to notify ICE. The only person that voted against it is Guzman.
That's the only time she showed up to work.
That's the only time she showed up to work. She
voted against it, and then she went back home to sleep.
Exactly. So, and the problem here is, now, when you arrest somebody, not automatically that they're criminals. You have to go through due process.
Right.
I mean, you arrest someone, you put them in front of a judge, whether it's a judge or a jury trial, and then are they convicted? Are they not convicted? Just because you arrest somebody, it's not automatic that they're a criminal. According So according to Sheriff Glen Hill, he wants, as soon as you're arrested,
right,
before due process, he wants to
something
contact
else.
ICE and deport you.
Okay.
Now, Guzman voted against him. Now, my problem with Guzman, a lot of people don't realize, I mean, Guzman wants, I mean, anybody that hears this,
Who is she? I'm just curious.
I mean,
like, what does she look like?
Nobody knows her, by the way.
What is
You
she,
talk to the Spanish community, no one knows her, by the way. Now, I'll tell
does
you
she have an
something.
ad or something?
I'll tell you something that's really interesting. Anybody that hears this conversation, they're like, who is this lady? We love this lady. I mean, if you're the Spanish community, you're going to think that this lady is
The savior.
Is the savior to, I mean, she must really care about this community.
Right.
Well, what if I tell you there was an 18-year-old that died in our county jail? 9 days into his incarceration, an 18-year-old, Juan Campos, died in our county jail. Now,
She never came out. She never said
allegation
anything.
that the police beat this 18-year-old to a pulp, dragged him into a county jail, didn't send him to the hospital. The kid died 9 days later. Now, where is Guzman from Juan Campos? You want to tell me that Guzman care about this community? Well, she never came out. As a matter of fact, we wrote her letters
No
about
response.
Juan Campos.
No response.
No response. She didn't care. And you still want to tell me that Guzman cares about the Spanish community in Prince William County?
I mean,
No.
I find it hard to believe that you care about anything when you don't show up to work.
Chief of Police Newsham?
You're taking up a spot out of 8 jail board members who, when they vote, that it means something. I mean, a decision is being made at this jail. You as a jail board member, your vote out of 8, okay? I mean, that's a big percentage. One person can sway the vote one way or another, but we can't get your position if you don't show up to work.
I mean, you know, I'll tell you what the real problem is the county jail. I mean, here's the thing. The county jail is a private jail. And it being private, it brings in $60 million into our county. These people no longer care. I mean, you got Sheriff Glen Hill weighing in on Guzman. He wants to elect this other guy. You got Chief of Police Peter Newsham. You got Commonwealth Amy Ashworth.
I heard you say Chief Newsham is on a Spanish,
And that's
ad.
exactly what we're going to get into.
I mean,
and that's the next video. I mean, this is so terrifying.
I wanna watch it.
It's
I
so
wanna hear it.
disturbing. I mean, and the hypocrisy here is an 18-year-old died in a county jail on your watch. You're a jail board member as a chief of police.
Specifically
You're
a Hispanic man.
a Hispanic. Now
Young
you're on
man.
Telemundo.
Telemundo.
I can't say it.
Telemundo.
Telemundo. Okay? Who gives a fuck?
And-
Look, the point is, he's on
Telemundo.
telling this community, the
In
Spanish
Spanish.
community, and Spanish. He's got the reporter
He's
translating
telling them
every.
to vote for him.
I can't believe this. I mean, the
What is he running
hypocrisy.
for?
I don't know what he's running for.
Is he
The
running
chief
for
of-
anything?
he's not running for anything,
He's a
but
hired-
he just wants to touch base with the Spanish community. Now, this is the chief of police who voted for contacting ICE.
287G.
I mean, yeah, 287G voted for it. He wants, as soon as you get arrested, if you're illegal, you're going to get deported before due process.
If you're not a citizen.
Now he's on Telemundo, telling the Spanish community that he cares. I mean, you gotta watch this.
I want to see him. Does he talk in Spanish or is just
No.
translated?
The anchor is translating for him. He looked nervous. I don't know why.
I don't think he got on Telemundo when Juan Campos' mom was crying on Telemundo. She was
Exactly.
crying about her baby.
Exactly.
He wasn't on Telemundo. He wasn't giving out press conferences. He wasn't answering questions. Matter of fact, I think I submitted a FOIA to the Prince William County Police about Juan Campos, and they denied it.
I mean, why would he get on the news? Why would he hold a press conference about a Spanish 18-year-old when his police beat that Spanish kid to a pulp and they hid the body cams?
Makes sense.
They took him to a county jail, covered his window. 9 days later, he died. And instead of taking that young man to the hospital, you got his mom, you got his dad crying on NBC4. And what did Julie Carey? She spun the whole thing and she said, oh, he died because of drugs. Well,
We know.
Where
it's
is
not
the?
drugs.
We know it's not. Where is the drug coming from? I mean, you have no contact visit.
If he's been there for 9 days, and the media wants to say this is drugs, so I mean, look. Either way, I think either way it looks bad, because if you're saying it was drugs, you're basically saying that a $60 million jail, a jail that gets $60 million, is allowing drugs to the inmates. Okay? And if it's not drugs, then you have to investigate what those officers did to him before they brought him to the jail.
Now, I want to dial back a little bit. The jail is under a new administration. It's under Colonel West. Everything that we're talking about happened under Colonel Militas. They got rid of him.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. You got an 18-year-old that died on his watch.
You know, Militas,
you got Mustafa beaten up and abused on his watch.
By the way, there are tons and tons of cases under Militas when he was superintendent. Tons of civil rights violations cases. I forgot the name of the law, but there's all these cases about abuse, about getting deprived food, water. This is all under Militas. And I think he was running this jail to the ground. I don't know what he was doing, to be honest with you, but it definitely was not American. That's for sure. And a lot of the cases were pro se, which means a lot of these cases were self-represented, because, I mean, we know how, dealing with Mustafa's case, I think gives you a lot of insight as to how lawyers work in Prince William County. Every lawyer wants to be the prosecutor's best friend in that county specifically. So they're not going to take a case against the jail. I mean, just look at the one fine example of a lawyer that actually went and filed in federal court against this jail. What was her name? Elaine Jarvis. Okay, Jarvis, I mean, they took a big dump on Jarvis.
At one point, she was wheeled out on a stretcher in front of the courthouse. You know how embarrassing it is for a lawyer to have to pretend to be on a stretcher just so Commonwealth Amy Ashworth lets her go. I mean, she threatened her with her bar license.
Do you know how embarrassing it is for you as an inmate to be suing the jail, and then the jail is looking at your lawyer being carried out in a stretcher?
By the way, it's a can of worms. We'll be here talking about Elaine Jarvis for hours. But I want to dial back and talk about the jail.
Basically, look, and then, I'll say this. Another lawyer, I'm not going to say who, but he said, do you want me to end up like that? You want me to end up like Elaine?
I can't believe he said that.
I'm not suing for you, man.
I cannot believe he said that. For a whole entire year, he's been telling me, we're not going to talk about it.
Let's go into your video.
Let's dial back and talk about, we're talking about Colonel West. The jail is under a new leadership. The jail has changed a lot. And
it's not just Militas that was ousted. There was a lot of the older people.
A whole bunch of people got let go.
Head of administration was put out. The jail lawyer was put out. The lawyer for the jail. I think she was steering them in the wrong direction. It's obvious she was.
At one point, she was all the way in Warren County.
Amar, she got them put on a federal docket.
That's crazy.
Okay, that's the kind of leadership she was given the jail. She was putting them. Putting them in the wrong direction.
I think she was at one point representing Sheriff Glenn Hill when
and he fired
I went up against him in court after he arrested me and trespassed me off the property. He fired her because she gave him the wrong advice. He lost in court. Now I'm back on the property, and 7 jurors said, Sheriff Glenn Hill, I absolutely do have a First Amendment, and you falsely arrested me and trespassed me off the property.
She was incompetent.
She was absolutely incompetent.
Anyways,
so let's go into that video.
What was her name?
Sharon
Pandek. And by the way, she's like, I think she was raised,
grew up in the jail.
She grew up in the jail.
The jail raised her.
She was like board of supervisor, like way back in the 80s.
I think Sheriff Glenn Hill raised her.
She's been there for a long time.
Wasn't she his girlfriend at one point? They act like they're boyfriend, girlfriend. Watch me get a letter from Commonwealth Amy Ashworth.
She was leeching off the county, basically.
She was absolutely leeching off the county.
She showed up to your case all the way in Warren County.
That's what I was trying to tell you. She all the way in Warren County.
She shows up.
She's there. I even told her, I was like, ma'am, this is not a jail board meeting.
What are you doing here? This is
What
against.
are you doing here?
You know, we can talk about that another day because, like you say, this is a
Can of worms.
that we don't want to go into.
I mean, I would love to open that can of worms.
Not tonight, though.
Not tonight. All right.
Dándole información
Do me a favor, go over to your exhibits.
confiable por más de 20 años
This is real.
y siempre ayudándole a vivir su mejor vida. Tenemos con nosotros al jefe de la policía del condado de
I mean, I'm telling you, Chief of Police Peter Newsham is desperate, and I'll tell you why
El
he's
Jefe?
desperate. I'm telling you he's desperate
They
because,
called him El Jefe.
I mean, I guess he's a mob boss. Isn't that what that means in Spanish?
Prince William,
He acts
Peter
like it.
Newsham. Bienvenido, jefe Newsham. Gracias
Jefe,
por estar
jefe,
con
yeah.
nosotros de nuevo. Hello, Chief Newsham.
He's
Thank you
wearing
for
like a
joining us
cowboy hat.
again.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope you all had a safe and enjoyable summer. The summer has been very busy for us, but we have been working hard to create a safe and secure community.
Right.
Gracias por invitarnos.
After this, I'll show you what Chief of Police Peter Newsham is hiding from this community. When you've got a murder, when your police officer are murdering and covering up a murder on a police body cam,
He's been busy all summer trying to keep this community safe.
safe. Well, we're going to watch
Then
that body cam.
put an asterisk next to that. Safe.
Exactly. Safe.
Espero que todos hayan disfrutado de un verano placentero y seguro. El verano ha sido bastante ocupado para nosotros, pero hemos estado trabajando fuertemente para crear una comunidad segura y protegida. Cuéntenos más. Tell us more.
Oh, tell
So
me.
we hosted more than a dozen interns this summer. Several of them
Why is she talking to him like a child?
are interested in serving as the next generation of police officers when they complete their college studies. We also hosted a junior police academy and an explorer academy for our young community members.
Listen to what he's talking about. Listen to the points that he's talking about. He's talking about anything except what matters in this community.
He's giving like the general.
Hemos
BS.
tenido a
The general fluff.
más de una docena
He's basically bullshitting her, and she's bullshitting him back. By the way,
I wonder
you
how
think-
much he paid
By the
this
way,
channel
you
to get
think
on
the
it.
Spanish community is watching this and they're not upset? You've got. By the way, the Spanish community is getting abused with ICE. Just the other day, the 18-year-old died in our county jail, and this is what you want to talk about? You want to talk about new recruits?
She's not going to ask him the tough questions. I mean, he probably paid Telemundo to get on their airwaves
Oh, 100%.
for a softball interview.
I mean, this is the same chief of police that voted to get. If you get arrested, they'll deport you without due process.
This is the chief of police that where he has officers on the stand like Chad Mason admit to tampering with evidence.
The same chief of police that weaponized the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. The same chief of police that has an officer that falsified Mustafa's statements. The same chief of police that has his police department crush and stage Mustafa's vehicle. The same chief of police that his officers on the stand admitting to cutting and muting the dash camera.
Same chief of police whose officers murdered a woman on April 5th, 2023.
I mean, you can say that, but it's a different kind of conversation when you play the fucking police body cam where they're dragging Tatiana David out of her vehicle, putting her somewhere else only to say we found her outside the vehicle
And then he goes,
after they murdered her.
And then he goes to the Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, to seal off the body cams, the whole file.
This is the same chief of police that an 18-year-old was beaten to a pulp, taken to a county jail instead
his
of
officers.
by his officer. Now he's on Telemundo. I mean,
El Jefe?
why is he not talking about 18-year-old Juan Campos?
de estudiantes universitarios con nosotros este verano, muchos de los cuales están interesados en formar parte de una nueva generación de oficiales de policía cuando completen sus estudios universitarios. También tuvimos 2 academias para los miembros más
He's
jóvenes de
definitely
nuestra
not
comunidad.
understanding what she's saying.
La
Of
Junior
course.
Police
He doesn't have a
Academy
translator. He's probably reading off like the note. He says, when she speaks, when she's done, I'm going to read this. Go
It's a
ahead.
script.
Yeah.
y la Explorer Academy.
If you
Dora the
have any
Explorer?
kids that are interested in taking part in any of our youth programs, please visit our website for more information.
Youth. He's
Sí,
talking about kids. But the 18-year-old is not part of the conversation.
Dorothy's kids are not, they're not entitled to justice. They can be abused by the police department, by his officers. Officer Romero.
Tatiana David has a 5-year-old child that's growing up, and he's going to ask, what happened to my mom? He's going to watch that body cam on the internet, and he's going to come out and ask, what happened to my mom? He's going to watch that body cam, his mother being dragged out of that vehicle, a cover-up. But Chief of Police Peter Newsham is talking about youth?
Tienen niños que estén interesados en participar en nuestros programas para jóvenes, pueden visitar nuestro sitio web para obtener más información. ¿Y tiene alguna información o consejos para nosotros? Do you have any tips or advice for us?
Yeah,
I do.
avoid the
You know, I
police.
think-
Avoid
his
the police.
Avoid his officers.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they'll kill you.
Absolutely.
Anyone with a mobile phone knows that there have been an increasing number of fraudulent scams. Unfortunately, we've had some vulnerable members of our community fall victim to scams, so we're trying to spread the word.
Pienso que cualquier persona que tiene un teléfono móvil
What the fuck is he talking
sabe
about?
que ha habido un número creciente de estafas fraudulentas. Desafortunadamente, han habido miembros vulnerables de nuestra comunidad que han sido víctimas de estas
Is she
estafas.
translating for
Así
him?
que estamos tratando
It
de
looks like
pasar la
that.
voz.
So she's not really interviewing him. He's just
No.
reading.
Fraudsters posing as
reading
law
a script,
enforcement may
and she
call
translates.
or text
Oh, listen to this.
requesting money and threatening to arrest you or revoke your license for missing an alleged court date.
He
A
says,
law enforcement agency
He said fraudsters are posing as police, right? Isn't that what that one lady's doing online?
Oh, that's interesting.
The one that goes by Christine Alcazai or Amy Hodgson?
You're talking about the lady that's on a police body cam in Mustafa's file, who's on 3-way with the wife of the investigator, Stephanie Claiborne Drum, who her husband on a body cam, on the same body cam, on 3-way, ended up falsifying Mustafa's statements.
Okay, so didn't a couple of people on social media reach out to you and tell you, after you told me your brother's story, I was contacted by this woman who claims to be police. She claims that she's the Prince William County Police. To some people, she's claiming she's a federal agent, right? And she's threatening them that if you get involved, if you like these videos of Mustafa, or if you repost them, or if you just talk about the case in general, I'm going to come and arrest you.
But Chief of Police Peter Newsham is not going to address that issue.
He's not going to address that issue. Because I think, actually, I gave a complaint to the Prince William County Police. And they claim there's nothing there. I mean, even with video evidence where she's telling people, I'm with the police. I mean, you have the Officer Robert Drum. His wife is on the internet threatening people not to get involved in this case. Physically threatening people on the internet, posing as police. I mean, she worked she was dispatch like many years ago, back in the day. Okay. But she's on the internet representing the police department. She has, apparently she has access to police department files if her husband is a top law enforcement.
Peter Newsham doesn't care because it's Mustafa Al-Jazari and his police officer falsified the statement. He has to protect his police officer.
You know, what did he say when at the jail board, after the jail board, when I asked him, are you okay?
He's very comfortable with charging Mustafa with murder. Now, hold on.
When I showed him the car, he said that's not the same car.
He said that's not the same car. Can he come out now and say that he's comfortable charging Mustafa with murder? Now that the file is on the internet.
He doesn't believe it's the same car because anybody looking at this, they would say there's no way the police department is going to do that to a car. Well, now we know it is the same car. And I'd like to know what El Jefe thinks of
He's not going to come out and talk about it. He's going to hide from you.
Of course he won't.
He's going to hide from this community. He's going to be here talking about everything
program.
and anything except
Everything under the sun.
the falsified case of
except
Mustafa
for holding his
Al-Jazari.
officers accountable. Everything under the sun, except for holding his officers accountable. That's the one thing he will never do.
He will never attempt warrant service or payment of funds
You wanna go
over the
back to the
phone
exhibits?
or via text.
Los estafadores se hacen pasar por agentes del orden público que pueden llamarle o mandarle textos pidiendo dinero o amenazando con arrestarlo o revocar su licencia por haber faltado a una fecha alegada en el tribunal o por no prestar servicio como miembro de un jurado. Ninguna agencia de orden público jamás intentará hacer entrega de una orden judicial o cobrar
long is this
un
video?
pago por
We're not going to
teléfono.
watch the rest of it.
No.
Okay. This is
Please
bullshit.
do not pay anyone who calls unexpectedly, and do not give out your personal information.
No shit, Sherlock.
This goes
He's reading from a script. Now there's another video that he came out on the news. Let's see if I can find it.
So he won't address his internal affairs covering up for a lie. He won't address how his police department crushed and staged the vehicle. He won't address how one of his top officers, I want to say top officer because the guy's been there for 14 and the other one's 20 years, how they're just tampering with evidence as if it's like nothing. Taking a dash camera, cutting up the audio, cutting up the video, and then not following department policy, not following the chain of custody, okay? And then not executing a warrant properly, tampering with witnesses,
I mean, you know what's terrifying is
on video saying that they want to do something inappropriate to the case and it's going to cost them spending money. That's his officers. By the way, these are top-ranking officers. This is not like your average officer that's going to pull you over for speeding or a traffic violation. These are your top lieutenants, sergeants. These people are heavily into the department. These are the people that run your department.
what's terrifying. It's one thing if you were just saying that, and it's your word against the police department, your word against the Commonwealth Attorney, your word against the Chief of Police, Peter Newsham. You have the file, the whole entire file that they've been hiding. You have it, and it's now on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. We have the actual body cam where the officer says, Officer Rob Davis is telling Rob Sermon, did you do anything inappropriate to it? As they're inspecting the car, by the way, as the inspection is going through.
If any of that
He says, did you do anything inappropriate to it? And the other one says, yeah. And then later he says, remind me, I have an idea about this case. I had an idea about this case that we should employ, but it's going to cost spending money.
I'm going to play that.
I'd
body
like to
cam.
ask Chief of Police.
I'm going to play that.
You
body
should
cam.
reach out to Rob Davis, Rob Sermon, and ask them, what the hell were you guys talking about when you said you're going to employ money into this case? What are you talking about? What kind of money are you pumping into a criminal case
Why not just
where
subpoena?
everything is falsified?
Why not just subpoena their communications?
I mean, that's another option.
Do me a favor.
Once again, this ought to do.
Okay. Properly fastened.
Properly fastened.
Okay. Did you do anything inappropriate to it?
Hear that? Okay.
You know, I would say openly
They're just
admitting
talking.
he did something inappropriate to it.
About this.
And then he goes on and says, I have an idea to employ into this case, but it's going to require spending money. What spending money? Are you pumping into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? And today you have a falsified case.
Falsified statements, falsified warrant, falsified affidavit, a warrant that's not executed properly, a dash cam that's been tampered with, children that were abused by the police, tampering with witnesses, telling witnesses something so that they can say something else. I mean, openly talking about getting your ducks in a row before you pull the trigger on Mustafa. By the way, multiple officers were saying that. It was Rob Davis and Robert Drum, who is telling that to a alleged witness. Imagine, that's what the police
We
are
got to get
telling-
our ducks in a row. We need to get Mustafa off the street. We need you. We got to get our ducks in a row. I mean, I have multiple body cams where they're saying this on it.
You know, when you think about that,
I'm gonna play the.
When you think about that, when he says to a witness, we have to get this guy, referring to Mustafa, we have to get this guy off the street. Wait a second. Are you investigating a car accident, or are you trying to get this guy specifically off the street? Which one is it? Because according to this officer, every conversation he's having with a witness, with his fellow officers, they want to get Mustafa off the streets, whatever that means. But they're personally targeting Mustafa. They're not saying...
I mean, you have to know who Mustafa is before the vehicle accident to understand what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Mustafa had a giant lawsuit against the police department, $500,000. It was an ongoing case.
It's clear this is payback.
Now, hold on.
Payback for suing them.
Now, hold on. That's not the only thing that was going on. Mustafa had a giant altercation with a club owner out of Crystal City.
Who donates to
the police department. Just happened, Dorothy's 16-year-old daughter, her dad works for Billy.
And that same,
now, wait a minute.
That same 16-year-old is now a stripper at that club.
The Commonwealth attorney is using that 16-year-old
who
wasn't there,
who's not a witness,
who says I'm not a witness,
but she wants to forcefully put her in as a witness.
Wait a minute. I have an audio from the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, on a recorded line, says that 16-year-old came up to him and wanted to kill Mustafa. That's on a recorded line.
I mean,
now hold on. That
shit is crazy.
That 16-year-old is connected to a club owner. I mean, what is really going on? Where is the police department from this whole entire conversation? Today you have a vehicle. Every piece of evidence showed this is a car accident. You have brake failure. You have Mustafa's foot on the brake the whole entire time. The data recorder, the dash camera, everything showed this is a vehicle accident. That Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the fourth lane, and the SUV turned into... I mean, this is a car accident. But Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and the police department, I mean, evidence showed that they cut and muted the dash camera, crushed and staged the vehicle.
It's crazy when...
falsified his statements. What is really going on here?
It's crazy when the prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, stands in court and tells the judge, she tells him, Your Honor, the RPM of the car is not matching up with him braking. Even though you look at the data recorder, you see that he's on the brake, 100% he's on the brake. The accelerator is 0. That means he's not on the gas, he's on the brake. And she's arguing to the courts that the RPM is not where it should be. I mean, it's not like you have a button for RPM. You don't have a pedal for RPM.
They know what they're doing.
She wants to manipulate the information to say, like, the RPM was too high. What does that have to do? He doesn't have a button. He doesn't control the RPM. The RPM is just freely running. What's
disturbing is the police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle, found 2 calipers that did not work, found a broken motor mount.
I mean, they wrote in their statement
a broken motor mount.
They cannot determine the cause of the failure to the brakes. That's their own words. They use the term failure. So they're admitting it's brake failure, but they can't determine what it is. And by the way, let's seal off this document. No one's allowed to see this document. Okay? Prosecutor wants to say he's arguing in the car. But let's seal off the body cam or the dash camera. Let's seal off the dash camera. Digital forensics says there is audio to this dash camera. But then you have Chad Mason who says, no, there's no audio. The wire was cut. Where's the wire? Shouldn't the wire be in evidence?
And that's exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the audio where Chad Mason, we already talked about Chad Mason, how he admitted to violating department policy, tampering with the dash camera. That's on the last
he should be fired
podcast.
Today.
He should be in jail.
He should have been fired yesterday.
He should be in jail.
He should be in jail.
Okay. Today we're going to talk about Zaimus. And Officer Zaimus admitting that this dash camera does have audio. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. We're going to listen to the testimony of digital forensic, Kathy Zaimus, tell Judge Weimer that this dash camera does have audio. Before we get into that testimony, did you know that Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, during a bond motion, edited the dash camera and then showed it to Judge Weimer?
Interesting.
the dash camera, the portion of the dash camera that was shown in court is edited.
So she's taking different portions, different times from the interior and exterior view to make it look like this is what's happening inside the car. But when she's playing a different time on the outside camera.
She played a series of 5 clips as of one dash camera. Now, the first clip is at 3620 timestamp 3621. The second clip at 3642. And then the third clip at 3524. The fourth clip at 3645. She played the inside view of the dash camera. And then she played 3645, the outside view of the dash camera. So what she's doing here, she would start off with one clip.
What is 3621? Is that interior or exterior?
Interior.
So she's playing the interior.
Interior.
And then 3642?
3642.
Is interior as well?
This is interior.
And then 3524?
3545.
3545.
3545.
What do you have a 3524 or no?
I have, and then the fourth clip is 3645.
Oh, 3545. Okay.
Yeah. And then 36.
These are all interior?
I'm going to go over them right now. I mean, by the way, you can verify this. Julie Carey played on NBC4 what was played during a bond hearing.
By the way, how did Julie Carey get that portion of the dash cam if it's sealed?
That's another conversation. I mean, I thought this file is sealed.
I mean, I put an open records request. They said everything is sealed. So how did Julie Carey, how was she able to get footage from the dash cam from the prosecutor's office?
I mean, you've got NBC4 covering up for the police department. So a prosecutor edits the dash camera, and then you have Julie Carey airs out
putting out the narrative.
I mean, wait a minute. The dash camera is sealed, by the way. They're not releasing the dash camera. The judge only got to see an edited version of the dash camera. Julie Carey runs with it on NBC4. So the community can't verify the timestamps because the full dash camera is sealed. Well, now I've leaked the dash camera. So now we can verify what they're doing inside the court and on NBC4. I mean, if I were to edit the dash camera, you can tell me to go fuck myself. So how is a prosecutor doing that to the...
Yeah.
I mean, how is NBC4 Julie Carey doing that? And they think... I mean,
they think people are stupid.
I mean, they think people are stupid.
They
Absolutely.
think people are stupid, and they're just going to blindly follow this old lady who's been there for years, Julie Carey, who's going to verify, really?
So we're going to go into those clips. And the question is, we have a dash camera where it has no audio. The Commonwealth attorney says there's no audio. She said that on NBC4. And it's cut before impact. And there are 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. So, on the last podcast, Chad Mason admitting to tampering with the dash camera. Now we have insight. I mean, this whole entire time, this community is asking, why is this dash camera cut before impact? Where's the audio?
Where's the rest of it? Exactly.
Where's the rest? Now you have an officer that gets on the stand and says, I tampered with the dash camera. I didn't follow the chain of custody. I did this to the dash camera. I downloaded it. I didn't send it to digital forensic. I took possession of it. I downloaded it. I'm doing the upload. And today you have a dash camera that's cut and edited.
It's crazy. I mean,
and then you have digital forensic comes out and says, no, this dash camera does have audio. So where the fuck is the audio?
I mean, as an investigator, you're looking at a dash cam. You claim that the wire was cut. You see the little piece of metal sticking into the camera. Like, as an investigator of 15 years, the other one, drum being 20, you're not going to ask yourself the question, where is the rest of that wire? Where is this wire?
Especially when there's a piece of metal sticking out
There's
from
a piece
the
of
dash
metal
camera.
sticking out of it. And you know what's really funny is on the scene he says the wire was cut. I don't know if it was recording before. I don't know if it was cut before or after. What do you mean was it cut before? I mean, if you arrive to a scene of an accident, you see a dash cam in the car, you're going to assume that it was recording, wouldn't you?
I mean, the fact.
Why would you assume that it's not recording? It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you assume the camera didn't record?
You know, I had a conversation with you off the podcast earlier, and you were telling me about Brad Haywood is he hired an independent expert, and he put in a motion to inspect the SD cards. Now that you have an officer that
inspect the SD card, to inspect the vehicles,
inspect the vehicle, inspect the SD cards, and the county is pushing back.
The county's pushing back hard.
I mean,
Judge Weimer is pushing back really hard.
I mean, the prosecutor, Sarah Sami, says Mustafa was arguing inside the vehicle. Let me help you get the audio to prove your case. The prosecutor says, no, we're not going to look at the SD cards. Why? I mean, I thought you said he's arguing inside the vehicle, and your digital forensics is admitting there's audio.
Let's examine the argument.
But she's terrified. I mean, I'll tell you. I mean,
I think Judge Weimer is scared.
Judge Weimer is absolutely. What did he say? Let's wait until October. And
what's in October?
And then Brad Hayward said, absolutely not. We're going to get the SD card. I want my motion within 2 weeks, and we have one more week left. Now, on this podcast,
why do you think Judge Weimer...
I want to tell Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Here's the deal. Okay. I want to tell Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. If Brad Haywood does not get the SD card in 1 week, we're coming back to the property. And we're going to be camping at the property. And our demands are two things. We want the SD card inspected. We want the vehicle inspected. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think it's too much to ask.
And Sheriff Glenn Hill.
It's within the law.
Sheriff, I'm bringing my mother. And you don't want me to bring my mother. She screams. Okay? 1 week, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, we're coming back to the property.
Why do you think Judge Weimer is scared?
Well, Judge Weimer is scared because he's protecting the prosecutor, the police department. I mean, look at everything that Judge Weimer has been doing in this whole entire case. Judge Weimer ruled, he's been ruling for the prosecutor. The prosecutor gets to say whatever she wants, and he lets her.
Without evidence.
Contradicting
evidence, actually.
In what world does it make sense that a police officer takes a stand and tells a judge, I violated department policy, and he's proud of it.
I tampered with evidence.
I tampered with the dash camera. I mean, Judge Weimer is watching a dash camera that doesn't have audio, that's cut before impact, has 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. And now you have a officer that's telling you, I violated department policy. I took possession of of the dash camera files for 2 days, and then got a warrant 2 days later. And Judge Weimer is entertaining it.
You know, Judge Weimer.
And now, wait a minute. You know, I'll tell you something that's weird, that's very disturbing. When Mustafa's defense attorney is putting in a motion to inspect the SD card, Judge Weimer should be the first person to let that motion go through to get to the bottom of why this police officer is telling him I violated department policy. But instead, he says, let's wait until October. Why?
Exactly. Why wait till October? What's going on in October that you don't want this? I mean, look, we know for a fact, this SD card has the footage of the whole thing. We know for a fact this SD card has the audio. We know that for a fact.
Cassie Zaimus, digital forensic, admits to it on the stand.
Exactly.
And we have the audio. We're going to go over it.
We have the audio. Your own officer says, I have the audio. And then you have a shitty officer like Chad Mason who tampered with it. He tampered with it. And he says he uploaded it to evidence.com from his car. From his laptop.
Wait a minute. You can actually verify when the files were uploaded to evidence.com.
Of course, there's a log. Mustafa's lawyer is going to have a field day with them. He's going to have a field day with them. I mean, they like to openly violate department policy. He's not going to follow the rule. That person is not going to follow the rule. Drum is going to just falsify whatever he wants. It almost feels like you're like in the wild, wild west.
Well,
You're just gonna get away with
They
whatever.
want to tell you that in Prince William County, Mustafa does not get due process. I mean, why? Why does Mustafa not entitled to due process? That's interesting. Is it because of the lawsuit? Is it because it's a Mustafa? I mean, what is it? Is it because? I mean, you tell me. Why does
Aren't they
Mustafa
racist? Who
not?
knows?
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
Like, why is he not entitled to the law like everybody else?
I mean, Mustafa gets in a vehicle accident, loses his family in a tragic vehicle accident. It's a car accident. It's a vehicle accident. He lost his family in that vehicle.
okay, the police want to inspect.
Now, wait a
it.
minute.
They want to recreate the accident. They want to
You want to
examine
change
everything. Do it.
You want to change. You want to change it and say that this is a monster, that he murdered his family.
Based on what?
Where is the evidence?
Based on what?
The evidence showed this is a car accident. Instead, you falsify his statements. You crush and stage his vehicle. You cut and mute the dash camera. You weaponize the children against him. By the way, children that loved Mustafa. There's Google Nest videos.
According to them.
According to them.
According to them in the forensic interview, they love
The
Mustafa.
child says, I trusted Mustafa. I loved Mustafa
And my
until
mom-
and
my
mom
mom-
told me to always trust Mustafa. This gives you insight
Does that
of
look
the
like
kind
an
of
abusive
relationship.
I mean, does that look like an?
And then he tells you, the officer told me such and such and such, weaponize the children. against him.
Detectives told me he crashed the car on purpose and ran away.
Left my
leaving-
baby sister to bleed to death. Mustafa was in
You
a
don't-
coma.
I mean, you don't have to
Mustafa
say-
was helicoptered to the hospital.
You don't have
Why
to
would
say-
you lie to the child?
You don't have to say anything more than that. The kid says it all. Okay. You know what? You know what's
By the way, Glenn Ford, who showed the child the pictures of 5-year-old Empress. By the way, I have a body cam where Investigator Davis is telling Glenn Ford, we need you to get our ducks in a row to get Mustafa off the street. You think Glenn Ford acted on his own to be allowed into the hospital? An
course not.
ex-boyfriend. To take pictures, to go back to the apartment and weaponize and show the children pictures of 5-year-old Empress? I mean,
he's not that smart.
the police department is allowing him to do. Investigator Romero
By the way, how did the
is
hospital?
weaponizing the children.
How did the hospital allow Glenn Ford, who's who's not?
Where's the body cam of Investigator Romero?
He's not the father. He's not related to her by blood. How did the hospital allow him to go into the house? And by the way, why did they give him Empress's clothes? He's not the dad. There is a father for Empress.
Are you talking about the father who's being actively blocked from being next to the children who were actively being weaponized against Mustafa? Divine Jones is the father.
That is
and you
the
have a
crazy
body cam
part.
where they're telling him, no, absolutely not. And they're weaponizing the children against Mustafa.
That's the crazy part, is that the hospital released Empress's property, her clothing, to Glenn Ford. Does that make sense to you?
No.
And I mean, in the notes, in the hospital notes, okay, that are all up in the discovery, okay, these are internal memos by the nurse. She says Mustafa is not allowed to be with Empress because he's not biologically her father, okay? Yet you're going to let Glenn Ford go in there and you're going to give him property? Why? Why was that allowed? Okay, he took pictures of of Empress and he showed it to the other kids. How is that normal?
They're weaponizing the children. And then when you find out what Romero was doing on the other end, I mean, he's
Exactly.
telling
The police allowed this abuse to happen.
Exactly. Javen, the 14-year-old child, says Investigator Romero.
I mean, the fact that Chief Newsham and his police
Weaponized
department
him.
are okay with somebody like Glenn Ford openly stating that he drugs a minor and sleeps with a minor, that's normal to them? That's okay to Chief of Police?
Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. Exactly.
That's okay to the prosecutor that Glenn Ford openly says, I drugged and slept with this minor for a long time when Dorothy was living with him. He was drugging and sleeping with Kylie.
I have the audio.
And that's okay to the prosecutor? That's okay
On
to
a
the chief of police?
recorded line, Glenn Ford,
Wow.
the ex-boyfriend, who took pictures and helped weaponize the children against Mustafa, on a recorded line, admit to sleeping with 16-year-old Kylie.
I mean, that shows you the police department's priority. They're okay with a pedophile as long as he's going to say something negative about Mustafa.
Isn't he the same one that kicked Dorothy in the street and was violating the children? I mean, there are reports, Police reports all this.
Actually, Glenn.
As a matter of fact, wait a minute. On a body cam, Investigator Davis talks to Glenn Ford at one point about him kicking Dorothy out and the children. It comes up in a conversation. So Investigator Davis already, he knows.
Look, what is the first thing Glenn Ford tells Davis, Officer Rob Davis, when he begins his interview?
Dorothy is a bad mother.
You're talking about if you claim like you cared about this woman, you just found out she died in a horrible accident, and the first thing you're going to say is she was a bad mother.
What do you mean? He took Imagine. He took Imagine. Yeah, he took Imagine to the local 7-Eleven after showing him pictures of 5-year-old Empress, telling him that Mustafa did this. That and he's showing that.
Look, that's the definition of child abuse.
He took him to the local 7-Eleven. By the way, the child is saying it. Okay, he took him to the local 7-Eleven, and then he had the child repeat what Glenn Ford told him to the clerk. And then he tells Investigator Davis, you should go talk to Toby.
You should go interview the clerk.
That is crazy. You don't have to take... By the way, I have all the body cams. So you can verify this through the body cams.
It's crazy. Like
what did Investigator Davis telling Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend? We need you, Glenn Ford. We need to get our ducks in a row. We need to get Mustafa off the street.
That's the same Davis.
That's the same Davis.
That says he has an idea about this case that they should employ. It's going to cost spending money.
Do me a favor. Kind of go over to exhibits. I want to play that body cam.
What kind of money were you employing Rob Davis?
Case that I thought we should imply. Imply? Is that the word? Employ. It would take spending money, though.
It would take spending money.
Yeah, if he's married, I wonder what his wife thinks. If I was her, I would check the bank statements.
Well, she doesn't have to check the bank statement.
If he's married. I don't know if he's married.
By the way, there's going to be... all these communications are going to get subpoenaed. The prosecutors, the police officers, the individuals that are pretending to be witnesses.
If you're related to Rob Davis, who's at the Prince William County Police, I would ask him about that video. What did you mean when you asked Rob Sermon, did you tamper with it? And he says, yeah. And then later you tell him you have an idea about this case, that it's going to cost spending money. You should probably ask him that.
Do you know who he's telling this to? He's telling this to this officer. An officer that says, I've been briefed about Mustafa.
He's been briefed about Mustafa. Oh, he said, I didn't know it was him. And I just remembered that was him. We talked about him in the briefing.
Hey, I talked to...
Go back.
Hey, I talked to Grantham on the other one, and he said that it looked like... So we're good. We're good.
Sorry.
Everything's
We'll call you next time.
Hey, can I be honest with you? I don't even know that cat. I do now. I remember it now that it was brought up.
And then they mute.
Make sure you mute. Make sure you mute when you're talking.
All right. So I love the way they mute their conversations. And
by the way, it's against the law to mute unless you're according to their policy and procedure. They shouldn't be muting like that, unless like the only
do me a favor, take it off exhibits.
The only exception was if they're executing for example, a search warrant. They're about to kick in somebody's door, and they're planning like a tactical plan, and they don't want the plan to be compromised. They can mute.
But Sarah Sam is trying to bullshit the lawyer Brad Haywood and tell him, "Oh, it's policy."
No, it's okay. It's okay to mute. It's not okay to mute. Look up the policy and procedure.
She thinks Brad Haywood's stupid.
By the way, there's a whole booklet.
No, she thinks that this lawyer she's going to undermine this lawyer.
He's going to check. He's going to verify. He's going to look up the same booklet that I found online for Prince William County Police and the policy and procedure.
He says she's bullshitting me.
Yeah.
He says it's absolutely.
I mean, why mute when you're talking about that? Why mute when you're talking about what your history is of Mustafa, how you came to know Mustafa? Why mute that?
I'm gonna play a specific body cam where Chad Mason, the one that takes the stand,
The liar.
the one that cut and edited the dash camera, he says, make sure your body cams are off for all of it.
Interesting.
Make sure cameras on all of it. Make sure cameras on all of it. Make sure cameras on all of it.
Make sure the camera's off all of it.
Make sure the camera is off for all of it. So hold on now.
So you're very conscious of your
So wait
body
a minute.
camera.
Very conscious of your body cam.
By the way, where's Chad Mason's body camera?
Where are Chad Mason's body cam when he handled the dash camera?
They're not there.
I mean, you've got
They're not
some
there.
of Chad Mason's body cam.
I think there's only 2. Like very short, very, very. When he goes into the ambulance, he comes out and tells Drum, I got it on video.
There's some.
I got it on video.
I got it on video. So he's very conscious of his
And
body
here
cam.
he's talking about make sure your camera's out. He's talking to Matthew Surdam,
The officer that was guarding the door inside the
the
hospital.
officer that was telling Mustafa, your family's alive, they're well, they're being taken care of. Don't worry about it. They're gonna be okay. Mustafa says, Can I be with them? No. We have to take care of you first. Let's focus on you first.
They're-
For 4 hours.
Toying with Mustafa.
They're messing with him.
They're hoping that the fentanyl, the
Not-
50
not-
mcg of fentanyl,
Not they. Matthew Surdam is messing with Mustafa. Matthew Surdam
and Chad Mason.
and Chad Mason are messing with Mustafa's head.
So wait, the paramedic inject Mustafa with 50 mcg of fentanyl,
They knock him out.
and then for 4 hours, they're toying with
They're
him.
toying with
what
his
did they
brain.
hope? What did they hope out of this whole entire transaction?
I mean, clearly, Chad Mason is conscious of his body cam. He wants to get certain clips. And by the way, at the hospital, they're muting like left and right. They mute until they want to get a specific reaction out
they're
of Mustafa.
waiting for Mustafa to be high on. I mean, they're waiting for the fentanyl to kick in. That Mustafa is out of it.
I mean, sometimes they
And
mute,
then-
unmute, and mute all in the same clip.
And then they tell Mustafa, your family has been dead. I mean, isn't that what Chad Mason did? And then when he saw that Mustafa was crying, when he saw that Mustafa was broken and was crying for his family, all of a sudden, that body cam gets removed, sealed.
And they release Mustafa in the hospital.
And then Chad Mason falsified the situation. He said Mustafa did not care about his family. Wait a minute. So what were you hoping out of that transaction? That Mustafa was, the 50 mcg of fentanyl would kick in and Mustafa would be
were
out
hoping
of
that
it.
he's so high that he's not going to care. And they didn't get that
And
reaction.
they want to record that for the prosecutor to show her, look, this monster did not care about his family when we told him that his family had passed.
But even though he was crying, he's going to lie about it in the written report. So because Mustafa was crying about Dorothy having passed away, he lies about it in the written report. He says he covered his head and I did not see any tears. I mean, if I'm covering my head, if I cover my head right now, how are you going to see if there are tears or not?
Mustafa,
How can you see
Mustafa
that?
kept asking
can't
for
see
his
it.
family, kept asking where he's at. And then when he was told about his family being passed, he was broken and was crying. And that body cam is sealed and you get to falsify the situation. Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
I mean, it's just horrible to be honest with you.
I'm going to play the body cam when Mustafa was told that his girlfriend had passed.
Like,
after being lied to for 4 hours, and they're hoping to get a specific reaction out of Mustafa. By the way, you have the paramedic report where they injected Mustafa with 50 mcg of fentanyl. Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
I mean, as a community,
and what we're going to do, we're going to take a good 10-minute break. I'm going to leave this body cam on. And when we come back, we're going to jump and dive into the audio of Officer Kathy Zaimus, where she admit that this dash camera does have audio.
I just want to say that this is
take it off exhibit then.
I just want to say this is a community, and God help you if you get in a car accident in Prince William County. If you have your love, I mean, everybody drives a car. It's 2025. Everybody drives cars. God help you if you get in a car accident in Prince William County and Chad Mason shows up and your family's hurt. God help you.
I mean, this is where this case is.
People getting car wrecks every day.
The problem
But
here
God
is
help you
if you can do that to Mustafa, you can do that to anybody. And you want to tell me that this is a safe community?
It's not.
I mean, forget Mustafa. If you can do that to Mustafa, where you can crush and stage the vehicle, cut and edit the dash camera, weaponize the children, falsify his statements, you can do that to anybody.
Unbelievable.
I mean, imagine if Mustafa did not have a family that's going to go to this far to expose what this county is doing. Does everybody has a family like Mustafa's family that's going to go and put everything on the line to expose what this county is doing? God help you if you live in this county. On that note, we're going to take a 10-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into the Officer Cassie Zaimus audio where she admit to Judge Weimer that this dash camera and the Mustafa Al-Jazari case does have audio. And prosecutors have been lying for the past 2.5 years. And I'll leave you with this video where Chad Mason had falsified the situation inside the hospital. And he said Mustafa did not care about his family when he was told about his family passing.
Flat out lie.
I mean, this is in the police report. I mean, and the disturbing part is if we didn't have this body cam, all we would be left with is a testimony from an officer that's been with the department for 14 years. And who are you going to take?
Whose word are you going to take?
Whose word are you going to take? And by the way, that's what the jury was going to. That's what the jury was going to see. They're not going to see this body cam. If I hadn't stolen this body cam and leaked it on the internet, all you would be left with is the testimony of the falsified report from Chad Mason.
Of course. And they're going to make him look so good. He's going to say, I've been with the force for 14 years.
This monster did not care.
I've studied Homeland Security. I was with the department. I was this. I was that. They're not going to tell him this guy doesn't know the policy for digital evidence. He's been violating department policy for 14 years. They're not going to tell him that. But we had to steal that.
And then when you watch the body cam,
that information to bring it to light.
And then when you watch the body cam, you'll realize that Chad Mason had falsified the situation inside the hospital. Mustafa was broken. Mustafa was crying for his family.
It's nothing like he described.
That's
amazing.
It's
nothing like he described.
That is terrifying. I mean, how many other situations did Chad Mason have falsified for the past 14 years?
And the jury relied on his observation.
Testimony.
On his observation. Why? Because, he doesn't record on his body cam.
That's terrifying.
Why not? Well, okay, why not? He's one of the main officers in this case. Where's his body cams?
This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. I'll leave you with this body cam. We're going to take a good 10-minute break. And when we come back, we'll jump into the audio of Kathy Zaimus, where she admits a dash camera does have audio.
She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. At about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock. She died at about 7 o'clock. Died at about 7 o'clock.
She died at about 7 o'clock.
All right, do me a favor, take it off exhibits. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. This is the falsified case of Mustafa Al-Jazari. We're going to dive into the audio of digital forensic Cassie Zaimus with Prince William County Police Department, where she takes a stand and she tells Judge Carol Weimer that the dash camera does have audio, that Chad Mason absolutely violated department policy. Now, for the past 2.5 years, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has been telling this community that this dash camera does not have audio. Now, we're going to go over NBC4. We're going to play NBC4. And Julie Carey tells this community what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is saying, that this dash camera does not have audio. Today, we have a testimony from Chad Mason, who says, I violated department policy. I took the dash camera to my vehicle, took the SD card, plugged it into my computer, downloaded the files. He didn't follow the chain of custody, got a warrant 2 days later, so he's in possession of the files for 2 days to manipulate the files.
And didn't even follow the warrant properly.
Didn't follow the warrant properly.
There's files that should have been in that warrant, that should have been in that file, and they're missing. 21 gigabytes.
So 2 days, 2 days later, Kathy Zaimus with Digital Forensic gets the dash camera.
So he went through the videos and decided this should be in, this should be out. This should be in, this should be out. And the evidence to that is that 21 gigabytes are missing. And then we also have footage that you didn't find when you were in evidence.com. They're just not present. But Rexing has that footage. So how can Rexing have footage from Mustafa's vehicle from April 5th and the police department, allegedly, they don't have it?
I mean, the proper chain of custody is that Digital Forensic, Cassie Zaimus, is supposed to get this dash camera, is supposed to copy and mirror the SD cards, and then uploads it to evidence.com, the police department server. Instead, what actually happened, Cassie Zaimus did do that, but that was after Chad Mason. After the fact, Chad Mason took possession of the dash camera.
After Robert Drum checked it out. Robert Drum was on the stand. He admitted that he checked out the dash camera from evidence.
And what's disturbing,
on April 19th.
And what's disturbing is that you find that Chad Mason is the one that uploaded the dash camera files to the server.
The ones without audio.
The one without the audio. So he cuts the audio.
So all he had to do was, when he downloaded it, select a checkbox that says download without audio. Select that, hit download.
He had 2 days to play around with the files.
And now the prosecutor, the judge are terrified that Mustafa's attorney is going to come in with an expert who says, I'm demanding to look at this SD card that you have been claiming for 2.5 years has no audio. Well, I brought an expert, and he's going to tell us exactly what Zaimus told the police department, exactly what Zaimus told prosecutor Amy Ashworth. She told her that there is an audio file to these videos, and she simply buried that document. They buried it. I mean, you heard Blake. This is October 31st of 2024. And Blake says, I just got this document a week ago.
That's crazy. I mean, for him,
he was on the case for a whole
entire year.
And he just now got the document that says Digital Forensics says this dashcam has audio.
So you want to tell me that he went through a whole entire bond motion?
Multiple bond hearings. Multiple. Three of them at least.
The prosecutor didn't think it was a good idea to tell this defense attorney
exculpatory evidence.
Exculpatory. I mean, this is a Brady violation. This is the definition
100%
of a Brady violation. You didn't mention that the dash camera audio capability is turned on,
or that the videos have an audio track.
or the videos had an audio track.
I mean, that's one thing that a lawyer could have argued in a bond hearing. Your Honor, my client had a dash cam in the car with the audio capability turned on. Just ask Digital Forensics. I have a document from them that says he had the audio capability. That's a defense.
I mean, that's a defense. I mean, the narrative that's coming out of the prosecutor is that Mustafa planned this out in advance, put his family in a vehicle.
But not all of them. Some of them.
Some of them. That
doesn't make any sense.
Why not all of them?
Why not? You're saying he loved the boys, but the police are...
And he drove his vehicle into oncoming traffic to murder his family. Are you telling me that he drove himself?
And then he left the hospital to go check on the kids. What you just said, he's abusing the kids.
You're telling me that he drove himself into... that makes sense to you.
Without a seatbelt. And if you look 30 minutes or 20 minutes prior, he's washing his car, he's filling up gas, he's buying a whole pack of cigarettes only to end his life within a few minutes. Why buy a pack of cigarettes?
This person that you're saying that planned this out left his dash camera in the vehicle?
It's just, it's...
And
it's
wait a minute. He left the audio capability on, didn't wear a seatbelt, and drove his vehicle while he's in the vehicle? What's the idea here? What is...
Yeah,
your narrative doesn't make sense.
We're trying to figure it out.
Every piece of evidence showed this is a car accident.
And he's not on drugs, and he's not on alcohol.
His toxicology showed no alcohol, no drugs.
So, does that theory make sense to anybody?
This is Mustafa's toxicology report.
And by the way, the craziest thing is that you and I are sitting here today. We're not saying free Mustafa. We're saying let's examine the evidence. That's what we're saying.
Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says absolutely not.
We are saying let's follow the law. Why did your officers violate the law? Why did your prosecutor lie?
Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is terrified that the vehicle is going to get inspected, that the SD card in this dash camera is going to be inspected. And you don't have to take my word for it. I have a body cam where the judge ordered that the vehicle is going to be inspected. We hired an independent expert. He's on site.
And they blocked him.
And they blocked him.
They blocked him from examining
And what did Robert Drum say? Prosecutor Sarah Sammy said, no.
Prosecutor Sammy
Wait
said
a minute. There's a judge order.
But it's not in the report.
Oh, in the report, they said we allowed the independent expert to inspect the vehicle. But on a body cam, they're blocking him from inspecting Mustafa's vehicle and the SUV. How does that make any sense? That body cam, by the way, the only way they're getting away with doing this is because the body cam is sealed. And the reports show something completely different. In the report,
Do you have the report from Chad Mason?
I have it somewhere.
I would love to read it.
But we can post it at one point. The report says they allowed the independent expert to inspect the vehicle. But on body cam, you can see that Robert Drum, the same investigator that falsified Mustafa's statements, is blocking the independent expert from inspecting the vehicle, reconstructing the vehicle accident. Now, what does Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is terrified that this independent expert is going to find that's going to destroy her case? She said Mustafa drove his vehicle intentionally into oncoming traffic. But yet you don't want an independent expert to inspect the car? Wouldn't you think you want an independent expert to inspect the car to prove your theory?
I just find it funny.
And instead, you're terrified from the evidence.
I find it really funny that she tells the new lawyer, she tells Brad that she wants to get to the truth in this case. She wants to get to the truth. Whatever the truth is, she wants to get to it. Okay, this is not about the prosecution of an innocent man. She says, I want to get to the truth. Okay? So today we're looking at a situation where the lawyer is saying, Mustafa's lawyer is saying, his dash cam was on audio capability turned on, according to you, according to the police, okay? According to your own digital forensics, there was an audio track to the videos, okay? Your investigator admitted on the stand that he tampered with this dash camera, that he's the one that uploaded it to evidence.com with no audio, but your digital forensics says there is audio. So back to Sarah Sammy. When you tell this lawyer, I want to get to the truth, whatever the truth may be, I want to get to it. Yet you're blocking the lawyer from a motion to allow him to bring in an IT expert to examine this dash cam and SD card. And by the way, Zaimus openly says in her report that when she plugged in the dash cam to a power cord, the camera turned on. And even then she noticed that there's a time discrepancy of 1 hour because of daylight savings. So the fact that you can describe that tells us, reading this report, that the dash cam was not damaged, because clearly it still turns on. Okay, the fact that it still turns on, the fact that it was still attached to the windshield.
Chad Mason's testimony to Judge Weimer is that the dash camera was still attached to the windshield.
Okay, so how much damage do you think?
No. Chad Mason said the dash camera was not damaged. It was still stuck to the windshield. Did you drop it? No. Did you see it damaged? No. Zaimus also says the dash camera was not damaged.
So we can conclude that the dash cam was not damaged in this accident. Okay, based on multiple factors. Now, here's the question. Why is Judge Weimer blocking the attorney from having an IT expert come in and look at this dash camera?
I mean,
what's the big deal?
I mean, because when you open the dash camera, you clearly see there is no argument. I
have a theory as to why they're
for
blocking
2.5 years, they're saying there's an argument inside the vehicle.
I have a theory.
And then when you watch the dash camera, you see Mustafa and Dorothy, his girlfriend, are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. There is no argument inside the vehicle.
Let me give you my theory, okay? My theory is, if an expert comes in, takes a look at this dash camera, downloads the full video with the audio, just think of the optics. Okay, think of the optics. A prosecutor who's been lying for 2.5 years about a so-called argument, a prosecutor who has lied to the community that there is no audio when in fact there is audio and the officer concealed it. Okay, just think of the optics. Okay, think of the optics. It doesn't look good for that to happen now. Let's wait until October, closer to the election, so that once these people are elected, then you can have whatever you can put out whatever you want to put out.
That's what they want to do.
Okay, that's why Judge Weimer that's the only thing I can think of. Why is Judge Weimer blocking this motion from going through today? Because by the time he rules on it in October, by the time the expert comes in, by the time he gets the dash cam, by the time they do all that, it's going to be way past November. The governor's race is already over. Delegates has already been selected. They don't care about it anymore because all they care about is elections and what they look like.
By the way, Brad Haywood a week ago said 2 weeks. So
we're still waiting.
There's 1 more week.
I mean, is Judge Weimer
here's the deal.
Blocking information from getting out because he knows the inevitable is going to happen and he's trying to save certain candidates in this election season?
Brad Haywood, Mustafa's defense attorney.
Theory.
He said that Judge Weimer wanted to wait until October, and Brad Haywood said absolutely not. He went through chambers, and he said in 2 weeks they're going to give me a date for my motion. Like my motion is going to go through. This is our stand on the whole thing. By Friday, if Brad Haywood doesn't get a date, then Monday we're coming back to the courthouse. We're coming back to the parking lot. And we're going to be camping in the courthouse parking lot, which is public property. We have a First Amendment. We're going to be there until the SD card gets inspected. Until the vehicle gets inspected. We're going to be there and we're going to come back and we're demanding the SD card and the vehicle inspected. I don't think that's too much to ask, but if that's what we have to do, that's what we're going to do. And Sheriff Glenn Hill,
that's crazy.
I'm bringing my fucking mother, your favorite person, that apparently you, I think at one point he went up to her. He's like, you're not screaming today.
Look, like you say,
that is crazy. I mean, that's disturbing. That's what we have to go through to actually get to the bottom of what they're doing in this case.
It's not too much to ask for when you're simply asking to bring in an expert to examine the evidence.
You're saying he's a monster. You're saying that Mustafa is a monster. Let me give you the evidence to prove your case. You say there's an argument inside the vehicle, but you're not interested in the audio of the dash camera? Especially when your police officer is admitting to tampering with this dash camera and violating department policy. How does that make any sense?
It's not going to look good.
You don't want the audio? I mean, if you're saying Mustafa is a criminal, Mustafa's not supposed to want the audio, but you've got him screaming from solitary confinement, inspect my goddamn dash camera. Where is the audio on my dash camera?
Where's my dash camera?
Why haven't my vehicle gotten inspected? This is a fucking car accident. Exactly. And you've got the prosecutor blocking the vehicle inspection. You've got the prosecutor blocking the SD car from getting inspected. It's supposed to be the other way around. I mean, we have evidence that your police officers falsified this case. And we're going to get to the bottom of it.
We have a letter from the chief of police.
We're going to get to the fucking bottom of it.
We have a letter from Chief Newsham where he says, Officer Robert Drum III violated department policy and appropriate corrective action has been taken. Which is a lie. That last part is a lie.
I have a dash camera.
Anyways,
I have a dash camera that's cut before impact. This is the last 8 seconds before. This is in the police department server, evidence.com. They say this is all they have. Okay. Now, I find it disturbing that this dash camera has 17 frames missing from inside the vehicle. What am I talking about? The outside sits on 8.3 seconds, while the inside sits at 8.0. That does not happen unless someone cut the camera. And Chad Mason is admitting to violating department policy, did not follow the chain of custody, taken possession of the files, and then 2 days later getting a warrant, a subpoena.
You know, I was going to make a point about the dash camera real quick. If Chad Mason is saying that this dash camera started from 1:14 p.m., and we know there's 21...
What do you mean? I have the...
No. Just listen to this.
Yeah.
If he's saying that the dash cam started from 1:14 p.m., right? That's what he has in evidence.com. That's what the prosecutor says.
What do you mean? Cassie Zaimus says there's other videos, and the other videos has audio, and there's no way other videos have audio and these videos don't have audio.
So
I mean, that's your digital forensic.
Let me be the police department for a little bit and tell you, well, we only obtained a warrant for the 5th and the 6th of April. Okay? If that's the theory, the dash cam starts off in the car. According to the police, whatever they put in, 1:14 p.m., the dash cam is in the car. Nobody's in the car. It's recording for, I think, 5 hours before Mustafa and Dorothy get in the car. So if this dash camera starts off at 1:14 p.m., there should be 64 gigabytes of footage. Okay? We're missing 21. Why specifically 1:14 p.m.? You know, if this camera is on continuous recording, like it is, we see it's on continuous recording, because the camera starts off with nobody in the car. It's not like someone went in, turned it on, and then walked out. This is on continuous recording. So what was happening prior to 1:14 p.m.?
Well, we've got footage, and what we find is that Dorothy's van is sitting behind Mustafa's vehicle, and the dash camera captures it.
You can see it through
Mustafa's car. Through Mustafa's car. And at one point,
Dorothy's van door is open.
Dorothy's van is open. Dorothy is getting into the van with the kids, with the flowers. She was going to go lay flowers on her mother's anniversary.
Okay, now according to the children, actually, is that Dorothy was going to leave with Imagine and Empress in her van.
The point that I'm trying to make is there is exculpatory evidence that if you were to introduce this on the record, the prosecutor case falls apart. I mean, the prosecutor is trying to say that Mustafa premeditated this in advance, and Mustafa forced his girlfriend, her 5-year-old baby, in the vehicle, forced the boys to stay home. And then what you find...
So there's
on
more.
the dash
There's
cam,
more
evidence.
activity that day. There's more activity that Chad Mason.
That will shed light on what actually happened.
So there's more
that
activity.
Mustafa never forced anybody in the vehicle. This wasn't his idea. It was Dorothy's idea.
So there's more activity that day that Chad Mason specifically excluded when he downloaded those.
And
files.
by the way, he had 2 days.
2 days.
He had 2 days to think about this. Go over the
I'm
file.
telling you, Chad Mason is the guy that says, "Hey, Drum, don't worry about it. Put me on the stand. I know how to lie. I'm the best liar, and I'm going to get away with it. Watch me." And Amy Ashworth says, "Chad Mason, don't worry about it. Go ahead and do your testimony. We've already sealed the doors. We've made sure nobody has any electronic devices. So you're not going to be on the
Sheriff
record."
Glenn Hill comes in with his scanner to block the door to make sure scan you from head to toe.
Again, it's
by the
not-
way,
it's not Hill.
Hill has nothing to do with this. He has no brain, by the way. Sheriff Glenn Hill is doing what he's being told.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, he's just thrown in the middle. And this sheriff comes in with his giant machine. He puts it at the door. By the way, you only see this at Mustafa's case. By the way, this is a public hearing. So for him to come in with a giant machine to make sure that
On
no
that
one
case alone.
on this case, they don't want anybody to hear what's coming out of the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. They're terrified because what you find is on the audio that we're going to play today, that an officer takes a stand and says, "I cut and muted the dash camera." And then you have another officer that says, "Wait a minute, this officer violated department policy. This dash camera does have audio." But who's going to find out? Sheriff Glenn Hill comes in with his giant machine, make sure that you're not recording, that you're on bringing a cell phone. Just in case you're recording, he wants to make sure that the audio for this officer doesn't get out. Only in Mustafa's case.
Only in Mustafa's case. On that note,
then somehow, some way, this audio got out. And now the community can hear what is going on behind closed doors. So when you're watching a dash camera that's cut before impact, that does not have audio, the question is, when you have 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle, and Julie Carey wants to talk about Mustafa's facial expression, well, hey, did your officer cut 17 frames out of the dash camera facing inside the vehicle? We have him admitting to it.
That's a very good question.
We have Chad Mason admit to it. And a prosecutor that's terrified to get the SD card inspected by an independent expert. She doesn't want the full dash camera. She doesn't want the audio because she's terrified that we're going to get the full dash camera. And by the way, we're going to get the full dash camera.
It's going to implicate everybody. Of course. So far.
Of course.
The media, the prosecutor, the Commonwealth attorney, the chief of police, the judge. I mean, you know. But it's coming. What's coming, it's coming. You know?
This is what Julie Carey puts out on NBC4.
On 4 tonight, there are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense.
By the way, violated department policy. Investigator Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's statement. He put in the police report that Mustafa told him he was arguing inside the vehicle. You have an audio of the fucking conversation that Mustafa never said that.
Never said that. Well, I mean, I have the
It's on audio. You have an audio to the conversation. And now the police department, when it's no longer your word against the police department, you have an actual audio and you have a police report that's falsified. I mean, this is the foundation of the case, by the way. I mean, you cut and mute the dash camera, you falsify his statements, and now you're caught.
Caught red-handed.
Defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jazari has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jazari's family...
upgraded to second-degree murder after we gave the police department the audio that, hey, this investigator falsified Mustafa's statements, lied. The Commonwealth attorney, within 5 days, drops the DUI manslaughter, which, wait a minute, how could you charge him with DUI when his blood work show no alcohol and no drugs? Oh, it's sealed. And the attorney that we had is working for the police department. So who's to verify this? You held Mustafa from April all the way to October on a fucking DUI manslaughter when his blood work show no alcohol and no drugs.
And Casey Stevens knew it.
Casey Stevens knew it.
And what did he do for the county? He asked for a continuance every single time. He asked for a continuance. What were you asking for a continuance for if you have the document right in front of you? They're charging him with DUI and you have his blood work. I mean, how hard is that to just move the case forward? Move on. But yet he asked for a continuance.
This is Mustafa's toxicology report.
Unbelievable.
This is Mustafa's toxicology report. Blood alcohol, non-detected. No alcohol in his system. THC, 0.0003. Which is
non-existent.
No THC. No alcohol, no drugs. And this goes to the foundation of the case. The Commonwealth attorney wants to say that they're arguing inside the vehicle.
So they wanted to pin this drug charge on him, and they couldn't do it because obviously the results don't
when you open the dash camera, the foundation of the case, the Commonwealth attorney says that they're arguing inside the vehicle, but you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth.
So which one is it? Which one is
Wait
it?
a minute.
Is it DUI?
Dorothy,
what is it?
Dorothy has cancer and she smokes hemp. And in this dash camera that Commonwealth attorney sealed and is claiming that they're arguing, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. Why do you think this dash camera is sealed? Commonwealth Amy Ashworth can't lie to the community, and then they're going to call her out. They're going to call her out on her bullshit. If she tells this community that they're arguing inside the vehicle, but then the community sees that they're passing back and forth a cigarette, they're going to tell her, where the fuck is the argument? The foundation of the case.
Let me tell you something.
Is that they're passing back and forth hemp.
Did you know?
Do you see what I'm talking about here?
Let me tell you something. Did you know that the prosecutor or the police department never mentioned to the public that there was a dash cam until you stole it
and leaked it?
Until you stole it and leaked it. Then they went on the media and said they put out these.
What do you mean?
Mixed clips.
After I leaked the dash camera.
Then they came out.
They came out and they edited the dash camera and put out 5 clips
from different times.
And told this community this is the dash camera.
This is what's happening at this time, when in reality the front view camera is at one time and the interior camera is from a different time, and they put them together as if they're happening at the same time.
We're gonna play what the prosecutor is putting out on NBC4.
And by the way, the media banner at the bottom. It's done intentionally,
of course,
to cover up the time so that you can't. When they put out a clip, by the way, you can't verify what time that is. You can't tell that this frame is from 6:30 and the other one's from 6:20. You can't, because the media put out a banner at the bottom.
Now you can
with the Chiron, whatever it's called, the information at the bottom,
and they intentionally
you can't verify.
did that.
Yeah.
Now that the full dash camera is on the internet,
people can go to Not Another Boring Podcast,
the clear version of the dash camera,
and look up Mustafa's dash camera. You can see the full dash cam in HD, and we're working on obtaining the audio. So it's coming.
All right, so let's go back to Julie Carey.
Almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al Jazeera's family insists the crash was an accident. the defendant's brothers filed an internal affairs complaint with the Prince William County Police, alleging the investigating officer, quote, falsified a portion of his police report to say that the couple was arguing before the crash. Al Jazeeri's brother provided a taped version of a phone conversation that contradicted portions of the written police report. Last month, the Al Jazeera family received this brief letter from Prince William Police Chief Peter Newsham reading, "The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy, therefore appropriate corrective action has been taken." Al Jazeera hired a new defense attorney, Blake Weiner, who tells me he specializes in police misconduct cases.
The police report talks about my client saying, "I know what happened." He didn't say that. The police report also says that they were arguing in the car. He didn't say that. These are not only these material facts and material misrepresentations, they're the foundation.
They're the foundation of the case.
Weiner says without the incriminating statement, there's no proof Al Jazeera crashed the car intentionally. Police will not disclose specifically what led to the finding that the investigating officer violated department policy. In a statement, a spokesman writes, "The community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing."
I mean, listen to what Paroque. This is Jonathan Paroque.
Very minor okay, hold on. Very minor administrative errors. That's Officer Drum. Now, we just played last week an audio of Chad Mason.
Take it off the exhibits. Yeah.
Chad Mason, who mishandled the dash camera, okay, tampered with the files, didn't follow protocol and policy of the police department with regards to digital evidence, admits to it on the stand. So that's two officers openly talking about violating department policy. You have Officer Robert Drum, and then you have Chad Mason.
And then you have the children being weaponized.
I wonder if Chief
against
Police
Mustafa. Look, you have the vehicle crushed and staged.
Look, I
what's
wonder,
minor about
if, what's his name? Lieutenant Jonathan Paroque. I wonder if Lieutenant Jonathan Paroque thinks it's a very minor administrative issue when Chad Mason talks about taking the dash camera and plugging it into his personal laptop prior to sending it to digital forensics. I wonder if he thinks that's a very minor issue. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to ask the community. Do you think it's a very minor administrative error?
I mean, especially
when the officer takes the dash cam, plugs it into his laptop prior to sending it to digital forensics, and now, oops, no audio, and the dash cam is cut before impact. And there's all these video footage missing. 21 gigabytes missing. 21 gigabytes missing out of a camera that is on continuous recording. 21 gigabytes missing. No audio, cut before impact. Certain frames missing from the interior camera where you're supposed to see Mustafa's facial expressions as the accident was happening, but it's missing. Miraculously, it's missing. When you look up the data recorder, miraculously, the steering angle from the Chevy Suburban, the steering angle from Mustafa's vehicle is missing. Miraculously. I mean, Jonathan Paroque with Prince William County, do you think that's a very minor administrative error? That all these things are happening? What are the odds? All these things, all these bad things are just happening to Mustafa's case. What are the odds that all these things are happening? Oh, they're just very minor to a double murder. You want to charge somebody with double murder and your officer took his dash camera and openly talks about tampering with it on the stand?
I mean, here's the deal. Jonathan Paroque, when he comes out and says that, he's comfortable because the file is sealed.
It's sealed.
The community is not privy to what's going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazeera case.
That's exactly what it is.
So he's comfortable coming out and saying, hey, by the way,
ladies and gentlemen, don't worry.
Minor.
It's very minor. Ladies and gentlemen of the community, don't worry. It's very minor. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. We've got it under control. Well, we just heard a week ago, your own officer, Chad Mason, who body slammed that one guy with a broken pelvis. Yeah, that same officer openly talks about tampering with Mustafa's dash camera. And now you want to charge somebody with a double murder. The worst crime you can ever think of. The worst crime, murder. That is the worst crime in humanity, okay? And you want to tell me you're doing it based off of Chad Mason and him tampering with the evidence? Based on Robert Drum and him falsifying statements? Based on Rob Davis and Rob Sermon, who's at the car inspection, just openly chopping the car up? I mean, come on now. Like, let's be real.
I mean,
Jonathan Perot, what world are you living in? What planet are you on?
Well, when
what
you
dimension are you on?
Well, he's comfortable. The file is sealed. No one can verify what they're doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And what you're going to hear, Julie Carey says Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has other evidence that she's building this case on. Well, you can't verify it. This community is left in the dark. And they get to say whatever they want. And then now that the file is leaked on the internet, you realize they crushed and staged the car, weaponized the children against Mustafa. That's child abuse.
I mean, this is crazy.
Falsified Mustafa's statement, cut and muted his dash camera. And now the file is on the internet where the community is You know how terrifying this is, by the way?
It's terrifying to have somebody drive in Prince William County. To be honest with you.
If you can do that to Mustafa, you can do that to anybody.
And the real question is, how long have your officers been doing that? Because clearly, Chad Mason, in October of last year says, I didn't know about this policy. I didn't know how to handle digital evidence. So for 14 years, Chad Mason, according to the document, he's prosecuted multiple cases over the years.
So you want to tell me? I mean, hold on now.
He's been violating department policy this whole time, tampering with people's evidence.
You want to tell me an officer that was Homeland Security at one point? He used to be a Prince William County police officer. Went to become Homeland Security. Came back and became a crash investigator. You want to convince me that he doesn't know how to deal with a dash camera? No, he absolutely knows how to deal.
He doesn't know how to deal with evidence?
Hold on now. I mean, when you look at this case, I mean, it's that what they've done. Every piece of evidence that will show what happened
is missing.
Every
piece of evidence. Every single piece of... Chad Mason's body cam are missing. That would show what the camera looked like inside the car. Chad Mason's body cam when he was plugging into the camera, into the computer. Shouldn't we be able to see his body cam recording his laptop screen? What exactly he did when he plugged in that SD card and the files popped up on his laptop? Shouldn't we be able to see that? I mean, we have body cam from Robert Drum. He's sitting in his car conducting interviews with his wife on three-way.
When he called Rexon, he's recording.
It's so crazy every time I think back about it. How can an officer think he's going to get away with playing with the files on that dash camera? How in the world do you think you're going to get away with it?
He's not acting on his own.
How do you think you're going to get away with it? Well, I mean, at that moment in time...
Did you hear what he's not acting on his own.
At that moment in time, when Mustafa is injected with fentanyl on the hospital bed, you're outside plugging his dash cam into your personal laptop, and you're manipulating the files while the man is crying for his family. And you're telling him, they're fine, your family's fine. They're okay. They're just in a different hospital, but they're okay for 3 hours while you have this man's dash camera plugged into your laptop and you're sitting there manipulating the files. I don't like this. I don't like that. This doesn't work in the narrative. Okay, we're done. And then you go get a warrant. Get the fuck out of here.
He had 2 days. He sat on those files for 2 days, by the way. If you listen to his testimony, he sat on those files. He downloaded the files.
And he went to get a warrant to protect himself. That's
2
what they
days.
say.
He had 2 days to cherry pick what he wanted out of those files. Cut and mute. I'm looking at a dash camera that has 17 frames missing from. There is no way a dash camera can just sit on 2 different frames. There's no way a dash camera can just stop before impact.
And Lieutenant Jonathan Perot says...
It's minor.
The community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not impact this case. Very minor administrative errors. I mean, what we just talked about is what this entire case is built on. Prosecutors say he was arguing. They want to say, Dorothy said, I want to get out of the car. He drove his car into oncoming traffic. The accident happened in the 3rd lane, not in the 4th lane. All that can be easily verifiable through the dash camera that your officer, Chad Mason, tampered with.
And who doesn't want to get to the bottom of it? Sarah Salmon. Prosecutor Sarah Salmon is blocking the independent experts from inspecting the dash camera
she's protecting
from the SD card.
She's protecting the cop. I mean, think about it. Who controls the courthouse? The prosecutors. Why would the prosecutors not want anybody recording these hearings, these testimonies? The prosecutor. Because why? She's protecting the cop. She knows he's going to get on the stand and he's going to put out his BS, and she doesn't want anybody from the community to hear it.
I can't wrap my head around.
You have failed miserably.
I can't wrap my head around Judge Carol Weimer allowing witnesses to stay in the courtroom. I mean, who's testifying in this motion?
Of course. Other witnesses
Chad Mason
should step out because, I mean, they're going to sit there and corroborate their testimony based on what the officer just said. He's going to change his testimony when he gets on the stand. That's why it's protocol for the judge, Carol Weimer, to say all the witnesses need to step out, and we're going to call you when we need you.
You want to tell me...
That didn't happen in Mustafa's case.
No, he allows Chad Mason to get on the stand while digital forensic is sitting there, while Robert Drum sits in the courtroom. And by the way, he asked the defense attorney, who are your witnesses? And the defense attorney tells him, Chad Mason, Zaimus, and Robert Drum.
And at that point, he should have said, get the fuck out. We'll call you when it's your time to testify. But he didn't do it. And the crazy thing is, the lawyer, the defense
attorney, who's under question. By the way, we have so many questions for Blake Weiner. And by the way, I mean, these questions are, I'm not asking these questions. The community is asking these questions. Why didn't your defense...
Where's your lawyer?
Why did your defense attorney allow this to continue? Good
question.
The question is, I mean, that question is going to answer itself at one point. When you have an officer that says, I want to employ money into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, but it's going to require spending money. Who the fuck paid for this lawyer? I didn't have money. We didn't have money.
A wad of cash came in with the name of Mustafa's lawyer on it.
They're openly talking about it. They're fucking openly talking about it, that we pumped money into your brother's case. We hired your defense attorney. We hired your brother defense attorney.
You think about it. Where was the money coming from to continue this attorney? Somebody was pumping money into it.
What if I tell you?
I wonder who claimed it on
What if I tell you documents? I have a recording where the defense attorney, Blake Weiner, is on a phone call with the same individual pretending to be a witness on a police body cam with the wife of the investigator who falsified Mustafa's statements. Robert Drum. We are going to dive into the audio of Kathy Zaimus.
Kathy Zaimus.
The digital forensic.
Yep. And what she said on the stand.
After
Chad Mason got off.
On the last podcast, we got to hear what Chad Mason admit to violating department policy.
Fuck that. He tampered with the camera.
He tampered with the dash camera.
I mean, you want John, this is again, every time I see that name, Lieutenant Jonathan Perot.
I'm going to give you a metaphor.
Lieutenant Jonathan Perot.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about your officer of 14 years, okay, openly saying, I didn't know how to handle evidence. I plugged it into my laptop, and now miraculously the video is missing. It's cut up before impact. The audio is on. Lieutenant Jonathan Perot, what do you have to say to this community about your police officers, and what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it?
Mohammed, I'm going to give you a metaphor. The alarm goes off. The police show up. And inside the bank, this person that's telling the police, I just tripped, fell, and found myself in the bank. You think the police are going to say, while in the background, the safe is open and he's got cash in his pocket. That's Chad Mason. That's the metaphor here. The metaphor here is Chad Mason is telling Judge Carol Weimer that he took possession, violated department policy, took the dash camera back to his car, and instead of giving it to digital forensic, and instead of following the chain of custody, took the dash camera back to his car, downloaded the files, sat on them for 2 days, then got a warrant, and he's the one that uploaded the files to the server, to evidence.com. And instead, Officer Cassie Zaimus is the one that's supposed to be doing that after she copies and mirrors the files on this dash camera to protect the integrity of the files. I mean, and now you want to tell me that he didn't cut and muted the dash camera? Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're going to find out when Digital Forensic, the independent experts by Mustafa's defense attorney, Brad Haywood, goes in and look at the SD card. And he's going to be able to inspect the metadata and download the...
let me ask you this.
Cassie Zaimus, Digital Forensic, what you're going to hear in this audio is she admit that there is audio. That this dash camera does have audio.
Let me ask you this about Chad Mason. What are the odds? What are the odds that on the scene, when that body cam, when they're trying to figure out which way the car came from, where it went?
I have the body cam.
And Chad Mason says there's a dash cam, but the wire is cut. What are the odds that it's that officer? It's that there's I think there's over 10, 12 officers on the scene. Probably more than that. Okay. But what are the odds that same officer who says there's a dash cam, but the wire's cut? Somebody tells him there's a dash cam in the car. Yeah, but the wire's cut.
And then he's like, are you guys hungry?
And then he says, I'm fucking hungry.
I'm fucking hungry.
Or I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird.
What are the odds that same officer that said, yeah, but the wire's cut, I'm fucking starving? What are the odds that his body cam on the scene is nowhere to be found? What are the odds? What are the odds that when it turned out he's the one that handled the dash camera? And what are the odds that there's no video, or at least it's missing from evidence.com to the lawyer, that video of him plugging it into the laptop is not there? What are the odds that this dash cam is cut before impact with no audio, and he's the only one? Well, not the only one, because Drum took it out on the 19th. But he's the primary one that uploaded these videos to evidence.com. And when he's asked in court, was there audio to these videos? He said, at first, when Blake asked him, he says, I don't know.
No, he said,
I don't recall.
He said,
what did he say?
He said, I didn't think it was
an issue?
Oh, no, I didn't think it was important.
He didn't think it was important. Did you note that in your report? No.
No. And then he says, I don't recall.
He doesn't recall when Blake asked him. And then minutes later, the prosecutor's asking him the same exact question.
And then he says, there is no audio.
And now all of a sudden his testimony is he's so sure. He's so sure when prosecutor Sarah Sammy's asking him the question, he's so sure that there was no audio. But when Blake asked him, he says he didn't think it was important and he never noted that anywhere. Isn't that weird? I mean, you just said to the lawyer, you just said to Blake Weiner's question that you don't remember and that you didn't think it was important and you never notated it. Minutes later, prosecutor Sarah Sam is asking you the same question. Was there audio to these videos? And now all of a sudden your answer is a definite no. There was no audio. 100% you're sure there's no audio. Why didn't you note that down? I mean, you're charging somebody with murder. M-U-R-D-E-R.
I'll tell you.
And you want to tell me you didn't think the audio was important?
You know what's really disturbing?
Especially when the prosecutor and the police are accusing him of arguing. I mean, we have an audio of Robert Drum saying that Mustafa was arguing with Dorothy. Okay? That's what he's saying. And Chad Mason thought to himself, he didn't think the audio to the dash cam was important. Your buddy that's sitting right next to you, just like you, who violated department policy, I mean, you're in the same boat. Both of you are getting fired and getting jailed. And you're talking, and you don't think the audio is important when your fellow officer is accusing the driver of arguing? I think Robert Drum was there with him when he was looking at these videos. So
you know what he said? His testimony is him and Robert Drum noticed the dash camera.
Okay, I know for a fact that him and Drum were together when they were looking at these videos. Okay, because Drum, when he called Mustafa on April 7th, which is 2 days later,
that's right.
He said, I went through these videos.
He did say that.
Chad Mason on the stand said he went through these videos. So we know they're talking.
And you have a recording of that conversation.
I have a recording of it. We know they're both talking. Chad Mason and Robert Drum were both talking. Yet Chad Mason on the stand says that at the time he didn't think the audio was important. You don't find that?
You know, I'll tell
somebody's
you,
lying here.
You know, I'll tell you.
Chad Mason,
when you listen,
we're gonna get to the bottom of you.
You know, when you listen to the
we're
testimony,
gonna get to the bottom of you. We don't want your bottom.
we're gonna put him under a microscope, and we're gonna make sure that this Chad ends up in federal prison.
We're gonna get to the bottom of what you did.
I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last summer. We're going to get to the bottom of what you did to this dash camera.
You know what I find really disturbing?
When we find out.
I think we already know.
Okay. All right. Enough said.
You know, I'll tell you, they start off the proceeding with Chad Mason says the dash camera was stuck to the windshield. So you know, and was it damaged? No. Did you drop it? No. So you know the dash camera was not damaged.
By the way, the dash cam, you know, this dash camera has a clip that it can only go one way. So I can imagine him like he unclipped it, ran to his laptop, did whatever he wanted to do, and then came back and he's trying to connect it and it's not going. He's turning it and then he's got it, clipped it. It's like, you know, when they have that police tape. There's a tape for a reason, so that nobody goes into the crime scene, right? You have the tape, and then somebody just comes in, and he's like, "Oh wait, this should go here, this should go there, that should go there." Okay, Drew, I'm gonna take a picture of this crime scene. You just moved it.
That's crazy.
Or you know the chalk marks.
That is
when they put the chalk marks.
That is so terrifying. I mean, what you just described is terrifying.
That's exactly what he did. He took the dash cam, he ripped it off the windshield, went and did whatever he did with it, and then came back.
Do you know why they openly admitted to tampering with the dash camera? Do you know why
back,
Chad? By the way,
look, just listen.
Chad Mason,
he came back, put the evidence back to where he think it should be. Hey, Drum, give me that chalk. And then he starts putting all the chalk marks.
Chad Mason is openly admitting to all this in front of Judge Carol Weimer because 2 weeks after that motion, Mustafa was supposed to be walked into trial.
Yeah.
And you have a sheriff that's blocking anybody from recording anything.
And you don't have time to process what just happened. You're not going to have time to process that. He's going to trial.
The lawyer's compromised.
They're going to tell you, Court of Appeals, 4 or 5 years later, then the information comes out. Well, we destroyed everything.
I mean, and the biggest proof to this conversation.
We've already destroyed the car and the camera.
What did you tell? You told Blake Weiner that you wanted the SD card inspected, you wanted the vehicle reconstructed, and you wanted the home videos on the record. And he told you, if that's what you want, I'm going to withdraw from the case.
I'm not your lawyer.
I'm not your lawyer.
Okay.
I mean, why?
And we said, thank you for your service. We're going to be looking for a new lawyer.
You want to tell me that lawyer is not compromised? He didn't make a deal with the prosecution? Absolutely.
I mean, Blake, look, we're not going to talk too much about Mustafa's prior defense, but I'll just say this. Blake at some point told me, he said, I prosecute, like he deals with a lot of police misconduct. That's his specialty. He says, never in my life have I seen a case with so much police misconduct. Okay, every turn, every information I look at, it has tampering by the police all over it. It has misconduct left and right. Okay? And then he tells me, you know, if you hadn't logged in to your brother's iCloud and downloaded those home videos, I mean, the prosecutor would have convicted him. Those videos saved his life because anybody could just make up a lie, teach a child to repeat that same lie by the prosecutor. Okay.
Especially when you're telling the children that Mustafa did this on purpose. You're showing them pictures of their 5-year-old baby, telling them this is what Mustafa did.
Let me just make my point. Look, Blake said without the home videos, I mean, they're going to bring in these kids. They're going to sob. They're going to cry. The prosecutor, they're going to train them what to do in front of the jury. And they're going to get away with it because they're going to make them sound believable. And without hardcore video evidence like the video you got for your brother, I mean, nobody could come in and lie because the videos are going to directly contradict what the prosecutor.
How does it make sense that Blake Weiner sat on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year? And by the way, when he first entered into the record to be Mustafa's lawyer, he told Judge Weimer, Your Honor, I have hours and hours of Google Nest videos that contradict what the government is saying about Mustafa. So how does it make sense? For a whole entire year, he sat on Mustafa's case, wanted to walk Mustafa into trial without his Google Nest videos. How does that make any sense?
Well,
unless you're compromised.
You remember a conversation.
You made a deal with the prosecutor.
You remember a conversation that went like this. Let me find out that this DASHCAM audio capability was turned on.
I can't get that out of my head.
Okay, let me find out that the audio capability on this DASHCAM was turned on. Okay, I'm going to have a field day with the prosecutors. I'm getting that SD card. I'm getting this DASHCAM. Okay,
I have the phone call recorded. I mean,
we're not going to go through. We're not going to go through that.
There's a document. I mean, this conversation took place the document is in April 2023. He had this document, and he's sitting there. All right, so I want to continue what Julie Carey is saying about Mustafa, so that way we have a foundation where we're coming from, okay? What Julie Carey said about Mustafa, what the prosecutor said about Mustafa, and what that file is actually showing. It's leaked on the internet.
The vehicle, but there's no audio on the recording.
Did you hear that?
There's no impact on our case or the charges we brought.
Okay, so this is what Commonwealth
and her
Amy
5-year-old
Ashworth
daughter.
Says. Look, this is what Commonwealth Amy Ashworth
Department
says.
policy. In a statement, a spokesman writes, the community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the deaths of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter. And the Commonwealth's attorney also telling me the policy violation will not impact the case, writing, the letter has no impact on our case or the charges we brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense.
So,
court documents filed by prosecutors say there is other evidence supporting the charges, including dash cam video from the vehicle, but there's no audio on the recording.
Did you hear that?
Interesting.
No audio. But then you have Officer Zaimus, Kathy Zaimus, take the stand and admit that this dash camera does have audio.
So
wait a minute. Your police officer says there's audio, but you're on NBC4 putting out a statement? Commonwealth Amy Ashworth putting out a statement, there's no audio?
This is like, the police department. Imagine the police department is a body, okay? And you have Chief Newsham and this other guy, Lieutenant Jonathan Perot. They're at the brains, right? They want to tell you that this is very minor. It's not a problem. Yet your body's hands is saying, go right. One says, go right. One says, there is audio. Your other hand says, there's no audio. Your own body is contradicting itself. Your own police department is contradicting itself. One officer says, there's no audio. Another officer says, there is audio. Which one is it?
I mean, the disturbing part about this whole entire thing, they took the audio, Mohammed, the conversation between Robert Drum and Mustafa, where Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's statement and wrote in the police report that you told me you were arguing inside the vehicle. Yeah. Now, the audio, we have the audio. It's on the internet. Everybody can listen to it, and they can read the police report. Mustafa never said that. Mm-hmm. Now, what if I give you a supplement report from Robert Drum that says I could not hear the audio? Are you telling me that when we took the audio of the conversation between Mustafa and the investigator to Internal Affairs, what Internal Affairs did, they gave the audio to the same investigator that falsified Mustafa's statement, and conveniently he says, I couldn't hear the audio. So he put in a supplement report, never corrected the original report, still says that Mustafa told him he was arguing inside the vehicle because he claimed that he could not hear the audio of the conversation.
That's crazy.
I mean, you've got internal affairs. I mean, at this point, an agency within an agency who's covering up for this police officer. And that's why Commonwealth Amy Ashworth can get on the news. Jonathan Perot gets on the news. Minor administrative error.
Did you read what she said? She said she was already aware of...
She already knew.
I don't know the exact wording. But she already knew...
We were aware of our officer's mistake.
Prior to getting the letter, she already knew. And yet, what did she do about it? She upgraded the charge from manslaughter to murder.
DUI manslaughter. When his toxicology report showed no drugs, no alcohol. Murder. From DUI manslaughter.
It's like
even
saying,
though, I mean, it's so disturbing. The more you look into this case, the more terrifying it is.
It's crazy that because you complained, we're going to retaliate and we're going to put our foot down that we are always right. Even when we're wrong, we are still right because we're the county. We have an unlimited money of supplies and we're going to fuck you over. One way or another, we're going to fuck you over. And you come out and say, I have evidence that I didn't do anything wrong. And they're like, no, you don't. We're going to fuck you over anyways. We're going to charge you. And we're going to watch how you're going to attempt to defend yourself. Okay? You're going to spend all your money, all your time, all your energy on defending yourself when they, in fact, know there's no basis for this case.
How is it working out for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth? That her file and body cam are all over the internet. The community. By the way,
by the grace of God, it's becoming a disgrace for them.
I want to show you something really quick.
It's an embarrassment to the county.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
It's an embarrassment to the county.
Julie Carey is in the pocket of the police department, in the pocket 100%. Of the prosecutor, in the pocket of Commonwealth Amy Ashworth.
They're not called the fake media for no reason.
Now,
Julie Carey earns that title.
Now,
she earns that title. The fake news media, she earns that title 100%.
Julie Carey may not be telling the community, updating the community on what is going on in the falsified case of Mustafa Al-Jazari, but this YouTube channel, I think your videos are hitting 47,000 views.
47,000.
47,000 from this community are watching Chad Mason take the stand. Take the stand and admit to cutting and muting Mustafa's dash camera.
By the way, that's for the record, that's one video that hit 47,000. I've got a couple of million views collectively.
I'm going to go over a couple of videos from the last podcast.
A couple of million.
The courthouse
so
property.
I'll say Julie Carey, beat that.
Oh, her credibility is dragged through the mud. Julie Carey's reputation in this community is done. Everybody is watching what Julie Carey already put out on the news.
I'm not going to give specifics, but some of the people that we come in contact with, what do they tell us? I can't believe that old lady in the news. I can't believe she lied like that. Unbelievable. I'm looking at what you just showed me.
I walk into.
Yeah, we're not gonna name it. Okay, we're not gonna name it, but we are getting feedback directly from the community, and they say, I can't believe that old lady on NBC, that reporter. I can't believe she's covering up for the county, and we get that, by the way, a lot. We get that a lot from the community. I mean, we've got people way down in Spotsylvania. Okay,
I went all the way to Spotsylvania, and someone is telling me about Mustafa. They're describing the wire that's cut, the frames that are missing. They're watching the detail that's coming out of this case, and they're telling me NBC4 is lying to the community. I mean, they're telling me.
And the people are rooting for you. They're saying, keep going. God is on your side. We're just simply asking for the truth. We're not asking for much. We're asking for the truth. You say Mustafa's arguing. We're saying, let us help you get that audio. And if he is arguing, if he did do this intentionally, let's convict him together.
What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for?
You think I'm going to sit here
if you say he's
and
arguing,
advocate for someone that did this on purpose? I'm telling you, let me get you the evidence.
If she's saying he's arguing, you and I want to get that audio for her so that there's no question in front of the jury. Absolutely. There's no question that he was arguing. And let's get that footage.
And who doesn't want the audio? The prosecutor. Who doesn't want the audio? The prosecutor, who's her police officer, is admitting to cutting this dash camera.
That's crazy. We're trying to get to the truth. And you got Chad Mason getting in the way. You got Sarah Sammy getting in the way of the truth. Okay? If Mustafa was an ounce guilty, okay, if he was,
I wouldn't be here.
if there was any question to his innocence, we would not be here. Okay? We would not be asking these questions. But we know for a fact that when you put a dash cam in your car, it's for your own protection. When you put a dash cam that records high quality audio, high quality video inside and outside your car, when you go out there and you spend over $500 on a dash cam, it's because you want everything to always be recording. It's for your protection. And then for an officer to come in and tamper with the equipment that you put up for your protection, I mean, that's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. You're telling me that if you live in Prince William County, that not even a dash cam can protect you because the officer is simply going to reach in when you're not looking. He's going to reach in and he's going to tamper with your files.
So you're in and out of consciousness. You're in a coma. You get helicoptered to the hospital, and actively a police officer is tampering with your dash camera, manipulating the evidence.
That is crazy.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
I mean, just the thought of that. The thought of that is absolutely mind blowing.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying to think. To think you just got in a car accident, your family's hurt. The officer is going to tell the paramedic, "Hey, inject him with fentanyl, knock him out," while I fuck around with his dash camera.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits. Julie Carey has a lot to answer for to this community. When you got a video from, by the way, this is from the podcast we did on Saturday at the courthouse property. This video went up to 47,681 views.
47,600?
47,000 people are watching Chad Mason cut and mute this dash camera. I mean Julie Carey thinks, by the way, this county, they think they're so comfortable that the news
done
is
in the dark.
The news is in their pocket. The case is sealed. Well, look at what's happening. The file is leaked on the internet. Body cams, documents.
And the community is sharing it.
And we have our own platform that we're exposing what they're doing behind closed doors.
It's not you. It's not you saying, look at what Chad Mason did. Chad Mason himself is saying, look what I did to this dash camera. It's not us saying it. It's Chad Mason's own voice on the stand saying, I tampered with the dash camera that today allegedly has no audio, has the video cut before impact, missing 21 gigabytes, and the prosecutor is terrified that an IT expert is going to come in and say, let's have a look at this dash camera and see what this officer did.
47,000 individual.
47,600.
81 individual is asking, in what world, in what county, in what community is it allowed for a police officer to cut and mute a dash camera, edit a dash camera?
Let's look at the numbers.
Yeah, let's look at the numbers.
I'd like to see those numbers. No, I mean you just click on the video. This dash camera. Let's get the right op. No, you click on the title down here.
Which one? Like you want to go through?
No.
What?
No, where's the video you were just gonna play?
No, take it off the exhibit.
Go ahead. You want to cut this dash camera? Let's get the right officer involved. Let's get Chad Mason.
I mean,
he says he's
right here in the corner. Away from when we're watching. This is
really good at testifying and lying about shit.
I mean, the numbers right
there. Okay, let me see. Okay, we're going to put it up on the screen.
Actually, I can do this. Look, I can do this. Oh, yeah, I can zoom in.
Okay, zoom in on that. Wow, Julie Carey beat that. 47,681.
I mean, at this point, we're competing with a network.
On YouTube. At Not Another Boring Podcast. 47,000 views.
I'm gonna play the video real quick.
You know, look.
I'm gonna play the video real quick. I want everybody here. I mean, think about it. He thinks he's above the law.
You can't hide. You want to cut this dash camera? Let's get the right officer involved. Let's get Chad Mason. He says he's really good at testifying and lying about shit. Okay?
I mean, think about it. He thinks he's above the law.
He cut the wire. He cut the wire. He tampered with the videos. I mean, you're going to hear it. He tampered with the videos. Okay? You want to cut this dash camera? Let's get the right officer involved. Let's get Chad Mason. He says he's really good at testifying and lying about shit. Okay?
I mean, think about it. He thinks he's above the law.
He cut the wire.
You mute me one more time. Did you know that Alex Jones just lost one of his co-hosts because of that? Did you hear about what's going on with Alex Jones?
No.
Supposed to, well, this you should look into it.
Why should I look into it? Is that a threat?
I'm just telling you.
Am I being threatened?
I'm just telling you. You keep muting my mic. I'm going to take my goddamn computer from you.
I said, am I going to lose my job? And I just said job.
That is funny. Isn't that what you were asked in court?
I was asked, are you working for another?
That is funny. You're like,
when you say no, you were on footage connecting the wires.
That's what they said. I was laughing. I was laughing so hard.
I volunteer my time to be an IT
to
technician.
Ask a brother. I mean, think about what's really happening here.
Are you paying me? Are you paying me to do this?
The county is asking you.
Are you an employee?
Are you an employee
for not? What if I tell you? What if I tell you I own this shit?
Curveball.
I mean, what if I tell you I'm the owner, and you could be my employee?
Interesting, right?
I mean, wouldn't that be a drastic
change?
Shock? Wouldn't that be a shock to whoever
sending wave through the county all the way to Warren County?
I mean,
all the way back to Amy Ashworth.
I could be the owner. Who knows?
What are they going to do now?
What if I'm the barefooted? What did you call it?
Barefooted monkey.
What if I'm
the whole entire time?
What if I'm the origin?
What if you're the Bullhorn brother and I'm the Sioux brother? And they got it mixed backward. Interesting. I guess we'll find out.
It's an interesting theory.
Court is when? When is court? You mute me one more time.
We're gonna play this. Do you want to get into it or what? I mean, you're going on 3 hours.
3 hours. Should we?
And remember what I told you.
Should we keep it for the next podcast?
Remember what I told you.
What?
I told you at the beginning. I said, let's start with Zaimus's audio.
You did. And I said we're going to start with Sheriff Glenn Hill's
and then
audio.
You said we'll
start with Glenn Hill's video. By the way,
and I specifically asked you, send me your objectives.
Yeah.
On an email before we start.
You did.
Okay.
You did. But look, I had to promote Sheriff Glenn Hill. I mean, you know how much money Sheriff Glenn Hill
Listen, I just might fire you.
Hey, okay. All right. I hear you.
I just might
look, man. I like
sign
to keep,
off the document.
I like to keep my job at this platform. So
okay. Well, consider this.
There are guidelines that I'm supposed to follow and adhere to, and I guess I don't want to deal with the consequences. I mean,
I wish Chad Mason would have done that.
What follow guidelines?
I wish he would have said. It feels wrong to reach into this car while the man is on a stretcher being injected with fentanyl. It feels wrong to reach into this car and just start fucking around with these files. There's a policy to where I work. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm wearing a badge. I'm wearing this nice police uniform. I have to follow certain protocol when it comes to my job. Okay.
You know why he didn't do that? I'll tell you why.
I should probably send this to evidence before I fuck around with it. No, fuck it. I'll just connect it to my laptop and start messing around with the files.
I'll tell you.
He should have done that.
Well, the reason he didn't do that,
and when you don't do that,
because
there's
officers are getting briefed about Mustafa. Go to exhibits
Listen, all we're saying is there should be consequences when you don't follow the rules. And these rules are not just there so that somebody could just fuck around. These rules are there so that when you go to trial, there's no question about what the evidence is. There's no question that somebody didn't tamper with it. There should be no question, did someone fuck around with this dash camera? There should be no question.
Mustafa,
I mean, that's why there's policy and procedure.
You have officers that get on scene and they're talking about being briefed about Mustafa.
And you got Chad Mason with his thumb up his butt, walking around there, just tampering with evidence.
You're asking why Chad Mason did what he did, right? Okay. When you have officers that get on scene and say, we've been briefed about Mustafa, this is Mustafa. He had $500,000 lawsuit against the police department. Are you really surprised that they cut and muted his dash camera? They got him, and they got him exactly where they want him, and now they're taking advantage of a vehicle accident.
I mean, I'll say this:
they don't care that he lost his family in this car accident.
Of course
they don't care that this is a car accident.
Robert Drum refers.
They're taking advantage of Mustafa.
Look, the
guy that sued them for $500,000. A Mustafa cannot fucking sue the police in this county.
Amar, an hour
they have to put you back in your place.
An hour after Dorothy died, after she passed away, Robert Drum is sitting there with Chad Mason laughing and calling her the dead chick. He's calling her the dead chick.
I have that body cam.
When they told him she died, he's referring to her as the dead chick. He's laughing around. Oh, she's got some nice weed. She's got a nice lens. She's got a nice camera. Who's that? Who does that belong to? Oh, the dead chick. So don't tell me that they give a fuck about Dorothy or her children. They openly abuse those kids. They don't give a fuck about these kids. Okay, because Drum and his kind, they think that they should be the only ones to thrive in this community. That nobody else deserves that. That's for him and his kind.
Mustafa cannot walk around with a chip on his shoulder.
Of course
Mustafa cannot walk around that he has rights in this county.
And Chad Mason is a wannabe. He's a wannabe what Drum thinks he is. Okay, and Chad Mason just wants to fit in. He wants to prove himself to Robert Drum and the likes. Okay, and he's willing to take the hit. I mean, I'm telling you, he said, I'm going to fuck around with this camera, with this dash cam. I'm going to cut out the files and watch me do it on the stand, and I'll show you how it's done. He got on the stand and fucking took a big dump. Okay? He took a big, giant dump, and he fucked it up. And I'll tell you right now, as much as I don't like Chief Newsham and how he operates, I don't dislike him personally. I just don't like what he's doing to the police department. And as much as I don't like what he's doing to the police department, I don't even think he approves of what Chad Mason is doing or Lieutenant Jonathan Perot. You think these people want to come out to the community and have to defend a fucking loser like Chad Mason or a fuck up like Robert Drum? Because they want officers that when they tamper with evidence, they don't leave a trail behind. When you're going to falsify something, make sure nobody's recording it before you put it on black and white. Okay? And in this case, they fucked up because they left a big, heavy trail behind them. Okay? Number one, I guarantee you Chad Mason was promised that nobody's going to look into the evidence. Nobody's going to get this evidence.com file. Nobody's going to get this full unredacted discovery.
I mean, the history of the police department, this never happened before.
Exactly.
A file would never leak on the internet.
So somebody in the police department, I'm not going to put names out there, Kevin Hugart, somebody told these officers, don't worry about evidence.com and what the body cams are going to show because nobody's going to see these body cams. Okay? Nobody's going to see these body cams. And they were told, do whatever you want, okay? And don't leave a trail behind. But with regards to body cams, don't worry about it. We got that covered. Okay? And as much as I hate saying that, I don't think a Chief Newsham or a Lieutenant Jonathan Perot or a, what's his name? First Sergeant, I think he's a lieutenant now, Sean Shelton, Gary Spina, Lieutenant Gary Spina. I don't think these people want to come out or have to write on a report, damn it, our officer really fucked up, and now we have to do something about it. They don't want to deal with that. They hate that. They hate that they have to come out and make a statement to the community that this is not a fucking a bad police department, that we follow the rules. But yet again, we're here, 2025, where you have Chad Mason, as much as they wanted to protect him, Robert Drum, as much as the police department wanted to protect him, they failed. And I'll say this is by the grace of God. You know, when you
it's a miracle that we have this file.
When you do something in the dark, the truth always comes to light. And in this case,
everything that you're saying,
we got to find out.
Everything that you're saying in this case, you have evidence to prove it. That the vehicle was crushed and staged. Mustafa's statement, falsified. The dash camera, cut and muted, and frames are missing.
I'll tell you what's crazy.
The children have been weaponized and abused by the police department.
You know what's so crazy? Like thinking about everything I just said. The craziest thing is that if you go back 2 years ago, we were saying the same exact thing. The only difference today is we have the evidence to prove what we were saying. I mean, we were saying the police department tampered with the dash camera.
I have a video.
Now you have the audio of Chad Mason admitting to tampering with the dash camera. Robert Drum, the police department said, what did they tell us? We care about the
trust that we built with the community.
We care about the relationship the community has with the police department. They built this whole thing up so nice to you. They told you that they
That's
care.
what Sean Shelton. I remember.
If an officer does something wrong, we have to get to the bottom.
He gave us a whole entire speech. I remember.
We have to get to the bottom of
I have it on
why
audio.
he's doing that. We have to get to the bottom of why would an officer do that to a member of the community. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And we're going to make sure that this community can trust this police department. And then we get the file and we see that Robert Drum was given the audio that we gave Internal Affairs. And then he says, I couldn't hear it, so we'll just stick to what I said originally, the falsified statement. I mean, that's fucking crazy. You know, if we didn't have the file, by the way, at the time we were saying, I mean, if Sean Shelton says all these things to us, that they care, they have to get to the bottom of it, and we're going home, we're like, yes, Internal Affairs, they're going to get the truth.
We gave the evidence to the right people. That's what we're thinking.
And we're like, they're going to get to the bottom of it. He says, we can't have an officer in our department who falsifies. We have to get to the bottom of not only did he do it, but why he did it. We have to get to the bottom of it. And we're going home thinking, wow, this is it sounds like an honorable man. We trust this guy's going to do the right thing. In reality, he's sitting there picking up the phone. Hey, Ashworth.
He's tipping off Commonwealth.
He's like, hey,
Ashworth.
the family, they recorded Drum when he lied. So what are you going to do? And I guarantee you, she said, don't worry about it. I'm going to indict him so that when you pull the warrant, I have an indictment. And grand jury indictments are private. So nobody's going to hear what Robert Drum is going to say to the grand jury. And what does she do the following Monday? She calls on Robert Drum as a witness to the grand jury.
The same officer that falsified the statement.
Think of the optics. You just got a phone call from the police department that Officer Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's warrant. And you're going to call the same officer that's under investigation. He's under an internal investigation. You're going to call him to the grand jury. My question is, did you tell the grand jury that the officer I'm going to call to the stand to testify, did you tell them he's currently under an investigation for lying about this case? And I guarantee you the answer is no, she did not. On that note, I'll leave you the last word.
I want to go into Zaimus, but I think it's a good idea if we leave it for the next podcast. I mean, we're going on a 4-hour podcast. I think it'll be a good idea. Let this community marinate on what is going on here. Process what's coming out of
really process Chad Mason's testimony.
And if you don't
really process that,
what I'm telling you here, and if you're going to get anything out of this podcast, if this could happen to Mustafa, you want to tell me this can't happen to you? Absolutely. You're going to get a Chad Mason. You're going to get a Robert Drum.
Of course, because
that will take your dash camera.
Obviously, chief of police is okay with it. The guy still works there. I mean, they demoted him.
What's going to stop those officers from doing this to you? Nothing. And God help you if you're not blonde with blue eyes. God help you. On that note, thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Share.
You have to break that barrier.
Like, share, and subscribe. the podcast. We're getting a media blockout by the local news, NBC4, Julie Carey, Fox.
I mean,
they're in the
we're
pocket of the police department.
We're already beating Julie Carey.
Oh, absolutely. 47,000 views on a podcast we did just the other day.
We want to double that, so let's just keep going.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer. This is the falsified case of Mustafa Al-Jazari. Thank you for being here.
That is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. Any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way,